We live? Yo, what's up, guys? And welcome back to your English Aussie. We are live now with the Rating Your Team stream. If you guys do want your team rated or discussed on this stream, let me know down below in the comments. Send me a DM on Twitter and or Instagram, and we will get straight into your teams. In the meanwhile, maybe I will put up some thoughts around a few different drafts, a couple of things that I sort of want to discuss with you guys as well. If you've watched some of my videos lately, you would have seen a lot of stuff on the defensive contribution side of things. I did a lot of research into that and why those are so overpowered this year in FPL. Definitely have a watch of that. I thought it was a really interesting video. Got some great feedback from a lot of solid FPL players, and yeah, I think really lays out well why we should be looking at that sort of thing. A few other things I want to go through, maybe some of the player prices at different price points and who the good players are, and then if you guys have teams that you want discussed. Yeah, chuck them over in Twitter, and I'll pull up your screenshots, and we can talk through your team and talk through some changes that I would make. Happy to go through all of that. So for now, I think maybe we just discuss on goalkeepers, different price points, who I think is looking good for this season, for the start of the season. And then we'll just run through a team and maybe just build out our own draft. I've got a few different drafts at the moment. Let's say, for example, we're looking at goalkeepers that you want to go for this season. Who starts well? Let's assume that we're not doing a bench boost in game week 1 to begin with, and we can maybe build out a bench boost as well as we go forwards. So a few options to consider. I think the main... I think at the 5.5 million point, and this, by the way, the new FPL website is the worst thing I have literally ever seen in my life. Like, it's so bad. They changed something that was working completely fine and just made it awful. Like, so hard to present content, so hard to find players, so hard to search for things, to filter for stuff. Is probably the worst change I've ever seen. Having said that, some of the changes to the rules have been excellent. I thought have been really good from FPL. But yeah, the website is my least favorite that I have seen. So yeah, if I look at, maybe we look at price points for goalkeepers first off. At the 5.5, you've got Raya, Pickford, Alisson, Edison. And I think here, no one really excites me as a pick at 5.5 million. It's quite pricey. It's always quite difficult to pick the goalkeepers. And generally, there's someone coming in at 5 million, 4.5 million who outscores these goalkeepers over the course of the season. It also blocks up an Arsenal, a Liverpool, or a Man City slot that maybe you want to use elsewhere. Pickford, I think, at 5.5 million just becomes a little bit too expensive for me. Also, at the start of the season for Everton at the moment, they've got Branthwaite still not fit. Tarkovsky still not fit. O'Brien is playing at centre-back with Michael Keane at the moment. And Everton have been really poor in pre-season. I would probably say Pickford for me is also a no. So that 5.5 price point is sort of a bit of a dead point for me. At the 5 mil price point, and also I think important to note that Edison at the moment I think is still Manchester City's number 1 keeper, but they have signed Trafford back from Burnley. And last season, obviously Burnley had such an incredible defensive record that I felt like Trafford's an excellent signing for Man City. And I think they sold him, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago for about 12 million, bought him back for 27. So a homegrown player at that price, amazing business from Man City to get him back that cheap. And Trafford could become Man City's starting goalkeeper. At 5 million, possibly something that you could consider later in the season. But for me now, just not really worth it for game week 1. Am I still bench boosting game week 1? Still, got to be honest, I'm looking at it and I would like to bench boost game week 1. I just think it makes a lot of sense. But there's a few different drafts that I've built, and I will go through some of the crazier ones later, where I was sort of expecting Gyökeres to come in at 9 mil, and if he did, I had a draft with like Salah, Haaland, Gyökeres, and Palmer, and like the team didn't look that bad. So we'll take a look at that a bit later. Derek, come good, mate. Good to see you in the chat again this season. Thanks for rejoining with us. Jesse, I was going to you, but I think game week 16 might be better. 5 free transfers, you get to split the Salah money across more players. Yeah, I think the thing for me, Jesse, is bench boost is... The reason I want to bench boost in game week 1 is you can get that bench boost out of the way. I don't really want to have 15 playing players in my team this season. I think the price points are so unique that I want to have some dud players on the bench. Like I want to have maybe a Cheeto Obi up front for 4.5 million. I want to have a few of those sort of players so I can afford some of these big hitters. Excuse me. I understand what you're saying about game week 16. I think the 5 free transfers is really good. You can obviously move out of Salah and get to quite a few people, but then when are you gonna how are you gonna then transition that team back to what you want long term? Yeah, I think this season as well, what's important to think about is those 4 million defenders are actually going to be great this season. Like you're going to have like a Joe Rodon at Leeds or a B Joel at Leeds, who I personally think are better 4 million defenders than Steve at Burnley. I think Steve is fine as well. Foggy, what's up, mate? Welcome to the chat. Those 4 million defenders, you're going to be playing in your team. Like they can be used because of these defensive contributions. Some of them are going to be usable 4 million defenders that you're going to be happy to put in, even if they've got a game against maybe like a Newcastle or an Aston Villa. They're going to be on the back foot a lot, but they're going to get those defensive contribution points. So I think that's something really important to consider, that basically your defensive back 5, my expectation is I'm not going to make a lot of transfers in the defense the whole season. Yeah, just talking about that, Foggy, at the moment around bench boosting game week 1. I'm still on the bench boost for game week 1, but I do have a few other drafts, and I am just mostly waiting for that Gyökeres price point to drop. And he hasn't come in yet, has he? No. It's goalkeepers. Let's just have a quick look to see if he's coming. No, he hasn't come through yet. I'm expecting him to come at some point, maybe tomorrow, or as we're on stream even. I think game week 1 just makes a lot of sense. I think you'll be annoyed if you don't bench boost game week 1. You pick a team, you're not really happy with it, and you want a wild card early anyway. I think my sort of thoughts are, if I bench boost game week 1, I'll free hit game week 2. Is it going to cause me to overspend on the bench, skewing everything for just a 1 week gain? Yeah, Simon. So I completely agree with what you're saying. And I think if you bench boost game week 1, you probably want to look into some reasonably early wild card team. Although I've done a few drafts of that bench boost in game week 1 that looks quite nice. That I think sets the team up nicely for the first 4 game weeks, assuming you free hit in game week 2. I think 3, 4, 5, all of that looks good. And we can go through some drafts on that on this stream and have a look at what they look like. So I think it's more like if you're waiting to use your bench boost later in the season, the thing is you end up wildcarding into a bench boost team, which then, again, you sort of have your funds spread on the bench. And then how do you transition back to the team that you actually want? Whereas I think you can nail this bench boost game week 1, then you transition out of it, spread your funds better within your 11 players, have a weaker bench, and I think that puts you in better stead for the season. Also, game week 1, the only game week in the entire season that you're going to have the opportunity to pick 15 players and play your bench boost in the same week. Every other week, you're going to have to wild card and then bench boost the next game week. Things can happen. Injuries can happen. I just feel like bench boost is quite a tricky chip. The other option for me with bench boost is you just play it in a random week. Thanks, Derek. Yeah, like and share the stream if you can, guys. Appreciate it. But yeah, I think the other option is you just play the bench boost in a random week. I personally think like scheduling in a week for the bench boost is going to harm your team more than it's going to help it. And to be honest, like I was genuinely considering this season bench boosting in game week 1, regardless of these new rule changes, which is quite funny that then they came in. Kurum, what's up, man? You sent me a message on Insta. Let me have a look, and I'll pull it up. First draft. Yeah, I think Gyökeres probably comes in at 9.5. Ekatike came in at 8.5, which surprised me quite a bit. I thought he'd probably be a little bit more expensive. But yeah, I think Gyökeres probably comes in around 9.5. Zach, sorry, mate. I just accepted your request, bro. I need to change my settings then on Insta somehow, so everyone can send me message requests. Sending it now. Yeah, send it through, man. And we'll run through it. But yeah, so that's what... Hey, Quex, what's going on, mate? What is going on? Good to have you. Easiest way, guys, probably send on Twitter, but I'll have a quick look and just see if I can change that setting so you can send it easily on... you can all send me message requests. Yeah, I just can't send straight through. Quex, what's happening, man? All right, we got the first team then. This is from Zach. And let me flick that over onto the screen. Morning, Dylan. What's happening, man? All right, Zach. So in goal, Trafford. So assuming you're thinking that he's going to start for Man City, very possible, very possible. I think obviously wait until we get a bit more news, wait a little bit closer to that deadline. But I definitely think that there is a possibility that Trafford could be the number one for Man City. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit on the main team and then we'll look at the bench as well. You got Kinski as your backup goalkeeper on the bench. Again, like possibility the Vicario leaves to AC Milan at 4 million. Quite nice. Dylan, I can't view teams based on team IDs before game week 1 like I normally can in the normal season. So if you just flick me your team through on Twitter or on Instagram, that's the best way of getting it done. And my Twitter and Instagram should come up somewhere down the bottom. I'll show it here. There you go. The Kuiper, I think little bit... you think Trafford is a good shout or you think Sanchez might be better? I think like if you're looking for that stable goalkeeper through the first 6 weeks, if Trafford starts Man City, he's better. But otherwise, like my personal opinion on the goalkeepers is I'd prefer just to go for a 4.5 mil goalkeeper and save that 0.5 million elsewhere. I feel like most seasons there's a 4.5 mil that does equally as good as the higher price goalies. I think at the moment, looking at the first few game weeks, my picks would probably be Areola, maybe Petrovic post game week 1 against Liverpool for Bournemouth, Areola for West Ham. And I just don't know about Brentford. I think Keller's a fantastic goalie. You just can't tell. I think if you're going to go 2 4.5 mils, then Kelleher and Areola or Petrovic and Areola rotate quite well. 5 mil for a City keeper is very good. Yeah, and I look, I've got no problems with Trafford starting in goal. Just wait till we get a little bit more news later down the line, and just have a backup plan in case you don't want to go for him. So I think if you want to have that price point for later in the season, then Sanchez is a fine replacement to swap in. In your back line, De Kuyper, Nico Williams, Dogi, Reynaldo, Richards. Look, I think my view, and I'm probably going to say this to a lot of teams that don't have this, other than Nico Williams in there, I'm not actually, Chris Richards as well of Palace is good for this, but you really want to be targeting those players that get those defensive contribution points. I think it's such a massive swing, and something like one of the videos I posted a couple of days ago, got a lot of good feedback from people in FPL community on defensive contributions and why they're so overpowered for defenders, and even for those sort of low mid-price midfielders. It really does make a huge difference. The ability to be able to just play your defenders against any team. It sort of allows you not to have to transfer defenders in and out when you have some dodgy fixture runs as well. So for me, I would say like a De Kuyper, overhyped for me. Like played in the Belgian league, great stats, but like Belgian league. Adogi I think is great for Spurs. I think he'll probably be good under Thomas Frank. Quite attacking. Nico Williams is great. Good defensive contribution stats, not amazing, but good. And super attacking, like for Forest. I still expect Forest to be decent defensively this year. They managed to re-sign Morgan Gibbs-White as well, which was massive for them. So I guess they've only really lost Elanga to Newcastle, which is a big loss for them. But if they manage to keep hold of a few of their other players, maybe make a couple of late signings, I think they could still be a great team. Yeah, nice one, Zach. And then into your midfield, maybe we'll leave the defense there. Have a watch of that. Let me know what you think. Like the guys that I think are great, Murillo. I think Tarkowski, if he's fit, is a no-brainer. Murillo and Tarkowski, it's like guaranteed in my teams. I think Virgil, if you can afford the $6 million. If you can't, then fine. Chris Richards, I think, is a really nice pick. He's very good for those defensive contribution points. Also, I just like Wan-Bissaka. I'd probably go Wambi over Kuyper. I think he's in that 3-5-2 that West Ham have been playing under Potter. Wambi's been playing super high, like super attacking, great output. Like, I think he's more people know already. Sorry, bro, I'm new on Insta. How do you upload a screenshot on Instagram? Send me a message request, Dylan, and I'll accept it, and then you can screenshot. Send a screenshot. Otherwise, Twitter is super easy. Just you can just send a screenshot easily. In midfield, like Palmer Salah, obviously great. And Dye I like on pens for Everton. Good fixtures at the start of the season. Declan Rice, I'm up and down. In like 23-24 season, had really nice defensive contribution stats. Got an ad, sorry man. I don't even have the ads on, like, hi. Maybe just flick a listen to this bit and then let me know. But yeah, so Palmer Salah, I said great, and Dye nice. Declan Rice, like 22, 23, 24, his defensive contributions stats were good. Last year, he's trying to play a little bit further forward for Arsenal, so I think he's more good for the attacking returns, but I think 6.5 million is too high a price for Declan Rice, if I'm honest. But look, if he does still manage to pick up those 12 clearances, blocks, interceptions, tackles, recoveries, and starts to get them regularly, along with his attacking return, he could be a pick that's going to shoot up in price massively. Adingra, what's Adingra's price? Who would I go for? I think Elliot Anderson is an incredible pick at 5.5 million for Nottingham Forest. Basically gets those 2 points almost every week. Yeah, I just think he's insane. Thanks, Dylan. I just accepted yours as I'm just quickly looking at what Adingra's price is. I think he must be 5.5. Yeah, I would go Elliot Anderson over Adingra for sure. Like, I think Elliot Anderson's a lock in my team. Should be playing striker for Sunderland. Yeah, but Sunderland. Sunderland. Not convinced. Look, I to be honest, like I'm not. Sunderland is probably the one team in the Premier League that I don't really pay too much attention to. No offense to any Sunderland fans. And I think Adingra is a good player. Like I do think Adingra is a good player, but I think Elliot Anderson to keep consistently tick over those points for Nottingham Forest. He's also on set pieces for Nottingham Forest as well. Like I think he's an amazing pick. Nice one, Dylan. I'll look at your team next. Sunderland got decent fixtures to start. I feel it's worth a gamble. Yeah, all right, fair enough. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think if you see that as something that can win you points, like there's no need to go against what your thoughts are. Like, yeah, I would maybe I would consider then Rice to Elliot Anderson. They save you 1 million. That 1 million maybe you can use to upgrade a Welbeck to a Solanke, because I think Spurs have great fixtures at the beginning of the season. And I think with Welbeck, like you're almost going to get a transfer that you're going to have to put in, because Kostulas, their new signing from Olympiacos, like he's not going to start the first game for Brighton. I doubt he would start the first game, because Herzler's still trying to get him up to speed with the intensity of the way Brighton played, like that intense high press that they play in. But I do expect Kostulas and Simas to take some minutes off Welbeck, and I think he's not going to be in there all the time. But I love the fact that you've also managed Haaland in that team as well. So, yeah, all in all, mate, I think decent team. Those are probably my few suggestions. But yeah, I think not too bad. I think just have that thought on Trafford, like who you'd move him for, maybe a Sanchez. I think Rice to Anderson just maybe allows you Welbeck to Solanke if you want to do that, or to upgrade a bit of bench cover. 4 million defenders, also last one on Reynildo. My favourite's Joe Rodon at Leeds. He's definitely going to start first game because Bijol is suspended. But if you're not going to play the 4.0 mil defender first game, I'd go Bijol of Leeds, because he's the new signing from Udinese, and I think he'll be really good for them. Hopefully that helps, mate. All right. Dylan, on to you, mate. Oh, Derek, you sent yours as well on Twitter. I'll pull you up next, Des. Sent him on my last tweet. Yeah, I'll pull you up next, Derek, if that's all right, mate. Sorry for skipping you. Sanchez and Kelleher, nice. I think if you're going to go for 2 goalies, I would have a look at 2 4.5 mil goalies just to save that extra 0.5. I think if you look at the rotation between maybe an Areola and a Kelleher, or even an Areola and a Petrovic over those first even 9 game weeks, they really only have 1 week that's tricky, or 1 or 2 weeks. Like the Areola and Kelleher game week 2, game week 7, you get maybe a couple of tricky ones. But depending on when you want to use your wild card, like you might move before then anyway. But otherwise, yeah, I think that's fine if you don't want to move out of there. 0.5 will probably be used on Gyökeres. Yeah, me too, mate. If he comes in at 9.5. Wamby, great. Konsa, I don't mind. My only thing about Konsa is he's not that big on the defensive contributions. And I'm probably going to say this to everybody's team today. Just go and watch my video on defensive contributions. It's going to make a huge difference this season. Like, I'm just looking at your midfield, by the way. I really like it. But it's going to make a huge difference for defenders this season. I think Murillo is like super overpowered. Even Milenkovic is quite nice. Tarkovsky, if he plays, is crazy. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's only good for those defenders that have more than 10 CBIT. Like, as soon as your average is less than that, like, it does really reduce the amount of games that you're going to pick it up in. But yeah, I think Wamby's nice. Konsa, obviously, Villa have nice fixtures, so like, don't mind it for a clean sheet potential. After Newcastle, like, their fixtures to game week 8 are just brilliant, and they're good defensively. So fine to have him in there. I'd maybe even consider Mings. Gusto at Chelsea, I don't love it. Like, I know he obviously inverts and gets up onto that right wing you're on bench boost in game week 1. Oh, I've got many comments in that case. What was the Leeds defender called? Yeah, I mean, similar for this team. I would probably say if you're on bench boost for game week 1 here, Dylan, I'd downgrade one of your defenders. I'd probably De Kuiper, but maybe even Malo Gusto. Well, I mean, I would take those 2 defenders. One I'd downgrade to 4.0 million. I would probably say Joe Rodon at Leeds. So Joe Rodon at Leeds, there's a few options for Leeds. They either play Pascal Struijk at centre-back with Bijol, their new signing from Udinese, who I can't pronounce his name properly, but that's how you spell it, Bijol. Or they play Joe Rodon at centre-back, Struijk is on the bench, or Struijk comes in at left-back. I think Joe Rodon starts. Like pre-season, they've been playing Rodon and Bijol together quite a lot. Rodon's the one that probably attacks that first ball a little bit more. The more aggressive defender, therefore will probably get slightly higher CBIT points, and maybe will pick up those defensive contribution points at the 4 mil price point. So I think he'd be really nice to put in there, and then you can upgrade if you brought him in for De Kuiper. So that sort of answers your question as well as that, Kurum. And then Gusto, you just move up to a 5.5 mil, like a Murillo or a Milenkovic or a Tarkowski. I think you need one of those in there. I think Murillo or Tarkowski is good. But Milenkovic for those attacking returns is tough. But I would go Murillo personally. Just also because Tarkowski's potential hamstring injury at the moment is a bit of an issue. In the midfield, Wirt, Saka, Palmer, Rogers, Anderson, like, it's nice, man. Like, it's really nice. Obviously, going without Salah allows you to spread the funds like this. And I guess you're of the opinion that signing Ekitike, Wirtz, means that the goal scorers at Liverpool are going to be more spread out. I would say Salah's looked gun in pre-season, like absolute gun. No worries, Karim. We'll be able to see your team after this one. Yeah, we can. Oh, I'll do Derek, and then I'll run through some drafts because I got a couple of different drafts that I'm thinking of. But I'll do a bench boost one and a non-bench boost one for you guys. But yeah, I mean, if you're not going for Salah, then like the midfield looks really nice. But also note that if you're going to go Gyökeres in for Watkins, do you need Saka? Like Gyökeres probably takes penalties off him eventually. Yeah, and I think like it's difficult on game week 4. But are you going to wildcard game week 4, or are you going to how are you going to get him in unless you wildcard? I think is the question. And that for me is one that I struggle with, because if you say you bring Gyökeres into that team and then you move Saka out of it, like who do you have at that price point at 10 mil? So then do you start tweaking stuff to somehow just shift up a little bit 4 mil and get Salah in there? Like maybe you move Wirtz down. It's so hard to go against Salah when you see historically how many points he's gotten for so many. I looked at this today, actually. You're right, Foggy. And if you're just looking at Salah, it's like every season it's like 230 plus points. And you just look at everybody else and it's like no one's anywhere near. And like last season, 330. Like, no way he gets that close to that again this season. But it's tough for me to even suggest the team without him. But this is probably one of the closest I've seen to looking nice. Yeah, I would say if you're going to go without him, I'd look for an early wild card. Like, consider an early wild card to go back into him, because transfers are going to be tough to move back into him. You'd have to like Saka down to Baliba at something at 5 mil, and then I don't know, Wirtz up to Salah or something like that. It's quite tough. Yeah, probably other thoughts like Isak, depending on where he ends up, have that as a little bit of a placeholder in your team as well. Maybe that's someone that you downgrade to a Solanke, you save 3 million, you maybe get Saka up to Salah. When you go Watkins, Gyökeres, Saka up to Salah, Isak down to a Solanke, that feels really nice then. That really does feel nice if you can do that. So maybe have a look at that. See where Gyökeres comes in at. I've got some other interesting striker options as well, but I'm sure we'll get to them as we go through. I think there is a man at Brentford that nobody is talking about that his name is not Johan Wissa, and it is Igor Thiago. Very interesting one. Okay, let me just pull up you, Derek. Where did you apply? Oh, you posted. You posted on my. Ugh. You make it hard for me, Derek. Making it hard for me. Derek, can you send me it in DMs? It's just like it's hard to set up the screen. Hard to set up the screen to show this team. That's all right. I've got it. Let me just check your bench. But can you send me it in DMs anyway, just to help out? So, in goal, Vicario. Tottenham, nice fixtures at the beginning of the season. Obviously, keep that as a placeholder just in case he gets signed by AC Milan. That is on the cards at the moment. And then Kinski, if Kinski becomes number one goalkeeper for Tottenham at 4 million, that is crazy. He's going to be owned by more people than Salah for sure. Frimpong has looked really good for Liverpool in pre-season. I think it's a little bit of a how you play the game between Frimpong and Van Dijk for me. Having looked at the stats myself, I really feel like the additional defensive contributions for Van Dijk make him better than Frimpong. And I'm going to show you a little sneak peek of why I think this, but go and watch my video anyway. I'll show you this as a little cheat for those of you that haven't seen it yet. Van Dijk for defensive contribution points would get an extra 22 estimated last season. And 20, like say an additional 22, 25 points is an extra 4 goals or 8 assists. So I think he already got like 3 or 4 goals for Liverpool. Like he could end up with like 8 goals as a defender, basically what we're saying, because of those additional defensive contribution points. So really have a think if you think Frimpong's still going to outscore Van Dijk. Like, do you think Frimpong's going to get 4 goals and 8 assists? I'm not saying he's not, but I'm not convinced. So definitely take that into consideration and think about it. Dan Burn I like at Newcastle. Luka Dean is an issue for me because him and Maatsen share minutes. So also sent on DM. Oh, nice one. Thanks, mate. I'll put that up straight away. It's way easier to show on the screen on DMs. Man, I'm making this so difficult for myself. That's what we want. Yeah, much easier. Teach me tips. What's up, bro? Good to see ya. Dylan, yeah, I'll get to those 4.5 million defenders, top 3. I think Wan-Bissaka is number 1 for the start of the season for me. Yeah, so Luka Dean, he obviously shares minutes with Maatsen at Villa, so bit risky. If you are going to go 4.5 mil Aston Villa, I'd go Konsa or Mings. But for me, I'd probably just go Wan-Bissaka in that 4.5 mil slot. Frimpong maybe pushed up into the attack on the 70 min mark and Bradley right back. Definitely could happen, Dylan, but that would mean he's getting pushed up into right wing. Who plays right wing for Liverpool? Salah. I do expect Salah to get a few more earlier substitutions, but when I say earlier, I mean like 80, 85 minutes still. So, yeah, I don't know how far he'll get pushed. It's not going to be the same as Trent. That's another one to be honest with Frimpong is like Bradley is going to take some minutes off him. Like Liverpool rate Bradley and slot rates Bradley. He is going to take some minutes. So, yeah, I think Gusto for me and Chelsea. Chelsea rotate that team so much that sometimes they play Caicedo at right back in defensive shape, and then he inverts into defensive midfield. So they'll play that back four. Caicedo in attack will invert into the defensive midfield role, and the two holders when they're playing that are normally Enzo and Lavia, and then Enzo in attack pushes on into that attacking midfield role alongside Palmer to try and overwhelm the defensive midfielders on the other team. And that's sort of, especially when teams are man marking Palmer, he often employs Caicedo at right back to do that, just so they sort of overwhelm the team offensively. So Gusto's also like a bit of a minutes risk for certain games for Chelsea. I think he's at 5 mil, right? I'd look to try and just get an extra 0.5 mil and go for Murillo, because Forest have some good fixtures early season as well. Or like Tarkowski if he's fit. Chelsea's defence besides Kukurea is a risk. Yeah, I agree. Isn't this your team, mate? This is your team. Why are you coming in with that? You should have said that. Should have taken him out before. But yeah, Kukurea is nice at 6 mil, but again, no defensive contribution points, so it's still a risk for me. Midfield, Salah, obviously great. Kudus I really like as a pick. Obviously, if you followed my channel last season, I talked about how Mo Kudus is the GOAT. And then it was incredible that he signed for Spurs. I absolutely love Mo Kudus. Didn't have a great season last year for West Ham. They weren't a particularly great team. What's with Wan-Bissaka? What's his defensive contributions? Not that high. The C bit's not that bad. Check out my video. It has all these defenders' points. And if there's any additional players that you want, just let me know. I can pull them out for you, and just chuck a comment in the video, and I'll let you know. I've got like whole spreadsheets and stuff that models all this stuff out. Anyone who's a member of my channel has access to these access to these spreadsheets. It's just on a Google Drive, which I share with all the members. So feel free to sign up to that if you want. It's like an automated from the FPL API. So all the data, like as soon as the match is finished and goes into the FPL site, automates into my spreadsheet. Well, I have to click run, and then it automates. So if I'm on holiday, you're all in trouble. So midfield, Mbeumo not going to be on penalties for United. Just bear that in mind. I think last season was it 4 penalties Mbeumo got. Just me and co-pilot just talking to each other all day. 5 penalties last season. So just bear that in mind that Bruno's still going to be on pens. Bruno's taken one in pre-season. Noting Mbeumo wasn't on the pitch, but Cunha was on the pitch, and like Bruno's not going to give up penalties to anybody. Same for Saka. Like if Gyökeres comes in, potentially takes penalties off Saka. So those two are just two that I would consider. At those price points, at the Mbeumo price point, I'd probably consider maybe a Morgan Rogers or a Wirtz. Wirtz, I just don't know how he's going to end up in that Liverpool team. I think he's super creative. Looks like he's been getting on the ball loads in pre-season. But yeah, I don't know. I'd love to have him in. But yeah, who knows with Liverpool. And then Saka at that price point, only other one's Palmer. If you go for Palmer, I probably wouldn't have João Pedro. If you don't have João Pedro, I'd probably go up to Solanke. And your other option, if you want to downgrade from João Pedro, is the guy that I was talking about earlier, was this man here, is... not this man here. This man. Igor Thiago of Brentford. So pre-season, he's been starting up front for Brentford. Wissa obviously potentially moving out of Brentford. He's a 6 mil striker. I think that's just an amazing price point that you're not really seeing in a team that scores a lot of goals for Brentford. So I definitely have a think about Igor Thiago. I think he has not been spoken about whatsoever. He's in pretty much all of my drafts. And even if Wissa is there, when Ivan Toney was at Brentford, Wissa used to play as the second striker or off the left. I can see that happening with Igor Thiago playing up front for Brentford this season. I think he's going to be their main striker. So at 6 mil, I think like he is a slept on option this season. Absolutely slept on. So I'd maybe like for this team, and like I don't want to make it too much like myself. I think like if you want to go for an Mbumo, go for an Mbumo. But like if you understand my points about like he's not on pens, price point wise, maybe Mbuma down to a Rodgers, up to a Wirtz, up to a Bruno Fernandes, Saka potentially up to a Palmer, down to a Wirtz, down to a Bruno Fernandes, João Pedro probably down to a Igor Thiago. Thiago better than Welbeck. I like Thiago better than Welbeck. 0.5 mil cheaper for Brentford. And I think he's going to stay in the team. I would say first few weeks, I like Welbeck. Brighton have looked really good in pre-season. Those first 2 games against Fulham and Everton, I think Welbeck probably does really nicely. So if you play a super early wild card in 3 or 4, Welbeck. If you're looking a little bit longer term, those Brentford's fixtures through to game week 6 are really nice. And then if you wild card maybe in like a 7 or 8, when the fixtures start to turn, even a 9, I think Thiago is probably a little bit nicer for that extra 0.5 million that you can spend elsewhere. Really valuable, the 0.5 millions at the moment at the start of this season. Up front, Isak, yeah, just have a look, mate. Just have a look, see where he ends up. And then bench, Dorgu is actually kind of interesting. 4.5 Dorgu. Don't mind that. But United fixtures are not great. I would maybe go to a 4 mil, like a Leeds Rodon or Bijol, and then have an extra 0.5 again. Something like that. Yeah, otherwise, no issues with the team, mate. I think generally looks nice. Maybe think about Vicario and Kinski double up for Spurs, just in case one of them plays different games. But yeah, it looks nice. Someone else send me their team through. Let me just... if not, I'll run through some drafts of my own. I'm just going to check my messages. Tony, you here, mate? Are you in the chat? I see your team. Just want to check if you... if you're in the chat. No? All right. Tony, if you rock back up into the chat, let me know. Just reply to you. And all right, I'll just run through some drafts of what I'm thinking at the moment. So, what's your thoughts on Arias 5.5 mil mid from Wolves? I think he's awesome. I think he could be really good, like slept on pick as well. I mean, like people don't know of him that well, but I think he could be great. Like very good player, Arias, very good player. Not in any of my drafts at the moment, but definitely someone I like. I'll tell you what, why don't I put in the players that I just think are locks in my team at the moment? And I would say for game week 1, it's probably all of these guys. And in the midfield, I just can't go without Salah. Not sure Thiago's a lock, but I'd probably say that is who I would definitely have. And if he's fit, he'd also be in my team. And then I think the rest is just space. Oh, Tony, hey man. Let me put your team up then, mate. I don't know why, like... Oh, because I'm on Insta Live. That's why. Sorry, man. I'm just like it's being a bit painful with the team, like coming up on Insta. Don't know why. Let's just try this. I think that looks alright. All right, Tony. Mario over Williams. Yeah, Mario over Williams for defensive contributions, man. It's insane, his defensive contributions. Again, check out my video on defensive contributions, man. Mario would have finished the top point scorer of all defenders last year. And that's normalised as well. Like, if Williams had played 36 games, he'd have still finished behind. Obviously, he might have picked up a few more attacking returns. So he might have got a little bit closer, Nico, but I think Mario's mad. Like, and he's going to pick up the thing. So again, another sneak peek into what I said in that video, but the thing to think about is like people like Nico Williams, Milenkovic, for example. Plug in the video. Yeah, I can't give everything away, man. I need people to watch my videos, otherwise my YouTube channel goes nowhere. No, but I'll tell you basically what I said. It's just like, because otherwise I have to reiterate everything. I spent ages recording it. I think Forest will be all right defensively. I think Forest will be all right still this year. But yeah, so like what I think is like for the attacking returns, the defenders, like sometimes people like Nico Williams, Milenkovic, they get goals and assists against teams you're not starting them against. Like say they get a goal or assist against an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a Newcastle and you had them on the bench. Pisses me off so much when that happens. It does happen all the time. You have points on the bench. Whereas with these defensive contributions, you're picking Mario really because you're like, well, he might get a clean sheet. Maybe Forest have a great game and they draw 0-0 with Arsenal again, or like they win 1-0 at Newcastle or something like that. But he's going to get those 2 points for defensive contributions, like more often than not. Like I think last season it was like 22 or 23 out of 36 games he was going to get them, which is crazy. So you're banking those 2 points. So even against the tricky teams, you're able to play these guys. It just allows you to not have to worry too much about the rotations in your defense. I just think it's really like overpowered for an FPL team as a whole. It really also just allows you to attack your transfers way more in the midfield and attack. So I think there's a lot about it. But like happy to have the discussion. Like I think if you guys think differently, like I'm always happy to have a point of view. But I do feel quite strongly about this. I did a lot of modelling into it. Anyway, Tony. Petrovic Dubravka. Yeah. I like. Tough game week 1, but yeah. Bournemouth games after that quite nice all the way through to game week 9. Wan-Bissaka I like. Konsa is fine. At that price point, there's not really anybody I like more. If you've already got Wan-Bissaka. Dogi, again, attacking wise, is nice for Spurs. Steve at Burnley. I guess, like, of the 4 million defenders that are going to start in game week 1, I would say Steve's probably the most nailed. But what I would say is that if you're not going to start him in game week 1, I would rather have Bijo at Leeds. 100%. He's suspended for game week 1, so that's why I don't have him in a bench boost team. But if you have him in just a normal team, I'd have Leeds. And the reason for that is the way that Leeds set up tactically, or more, I would say, a bit of an assumption for me. It's a little bit of an assumption for me, so don't quote me as the source of truth, but you can blame me if I'm wrong. I think Leeds have a lot of really pacey attackers, and I think as they transition to the Premier League, they're going to try and play a lot more counter-attacking football. Rodon, yeah, I like Rodon as well, but I'm just saying, for him, there's obviously competition between him and Struijk for that other centre-back spot. I think Rodon starts, but he definitely starts game week 1. So if you're bench boosting game week 1, Rodon's great because he's going to start centre-back because Bijel's suspended. But going forwards after that, there might be some rotation with him and Struijk, but that's fine as a 4 million defender that's mostly going to be on your bench. I think he's probably going to play most games, but if you want him, you're probably wanting him for the bench boost in game week 1. And then going forwards, if he starts, it's a massive bonus for you, but I think he probably will. But then obviously when you play your wild card, you just go to the other person. That's my thoughts on Rodon. I would pick Rodon game week 1 over a Steve if you're bench boosting. If you're not bench boosting, I'd pick Bijan. So Leeds, the way they set up, I think they're going to be a lot more counter-attacking, which means, to me, they're going to play a lot of more of those long diagonals to the wingers and stuff, potentially count as clearances. They also have a little bit of a higher line that they sort of... they might be a little bit more aggressive with the way they attack that first ball. And I say also for a Steve, is he's somebody for Burnley. He's normally the guy who's a little bit more positionally aware. So you have the other centre-back attacks the first ball. A Steve sort of covers and positionally a little bit more behind. Again, so it means, in my opinion, I would say a little less clearances. You kind of want the defender out of the two centre-backs who's more aggressive and comes in for that first ball. But look, I mean, a few assumptions. I obviously haven't seen these teams play in the Premier League. It's going to be different how they play in the Championship. If they want to survive, they're going to have to set up differently. Just a few assumptions that I've made based off how the teams are set up. But I think Steve nailed for game week 1. If you want to go for him, if you like the Burnley defence, fine. No problem with that. Midfield, Belieber I love. Like Belieber, one of the guys for the defensive contributions for like midfielders that's right up there, like really high up there. Probably not quite Elliot Anderson, but like next at 5 mil. Superb bench option. Obviously, everybody knows more about Adingra than me, so I'm going to stay quiet about it. But if he's going to light it up for Sunderland at the beginning of the season, fair play. Keep going for him in the teams. At that price point, there's not a lot of players that you can choose from. It's probably him, Anderson, and Belieber at 5 mil are probably the only ones that I know. Cook, if he comes back to fitness at Bournemouth. TBC. Palmer, obviously lovely. Mbumo, like I said, not on pens. The options around that price point are up to Wirtz, up to Bruno, down to Rodgers, I think. Niels, hey mate, good evening. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, guys, quick shout out. Just everyone, if you could like the stream, really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Obviously, a smaller channel trying to grow. I think I give a lot of good insight, and I'm more tailored to helping you guys than to just talking about myself. So yeah, smash that like and subscribe button. Would really appreciate. Up top, Haaland captain. I love it. I'm more and more looking towards including Haaland in my team if I can. But if not, I'm going to go Gyökeres, which I'm waiting for his price. Beto 5.5. Be aware that Everton are also playing Barry up top. So it's unsure whether Beto is going to start game week 1 or not. What do you think? It's a free premium draft. I think it's probably a 3 premium. I think you can fit 3 premiums. Yeah, I want. Like, maybe I'll just do a draft after this, and then I'll come back to everybody else's teams. We'll have a look at a couple of them. The more you look, like if Gyökeres comes in at a decent price point, I think it could be a 3-mium. It's just not, the price points are just quite nice to then move around if it doesn't work out. Whereas if you bundle all your money elsewhere, I don't know how it works. Herman, what's up, mate? How are you? And then Danny Welbeck, like I said, start of the season, I think he's good. If you can afford that, Niels, absolutely. I want Virgil, Tarkowski, Murillo. If they all start game week 1, like i.e. if Tarkowski's hamstrings, or I think hamstring, is it with the injury? If Tarkowski's fit, I would have all 3 of them game week 1. Without a doubt, they'd be in my team. They'd be complete locks. Virgil, Murillo, Tarkowski. And I'm willing to hear the Milenkovic over Murillo discussion because that is valid. But otherwise, those would be my guys. Yeah, Welbeck I think will be a good start, Tony. But will fluctuate in minutes with Kostylas coming in from Olympiakos and Simas, the 2 new Brighton signings. Welbeck, I'm almost 100% sure he starts game week 1. as they get up to speed and ready for the intensity of the game. Obviously, Brighton have like super intense high press, so Hertzler's still sort of acclimatizing to them in pre-season. They started the last game. I can't remember who Brighton played against now. But I think they both got a few minutes in that one. That was the first time they've played in pre-season. Options for Welbeck and Beto, Thiago, Strand Larson, Beto. There's not really anyone around that price point that I can think of. Palmer or Haaland. It's not really a one or the other, Herman. Not really a one or the other. Wouldn't mind either. All right. Obviously, if anyone wants to flick through their teams, send me them through. In the meantime, I will talk through some drafts. So maybe we look at a threemium draft, and I'll say let's go with Palmer, and let's say Watkins is Gyökeres at 9 mil. Let's just have him in there. And then what do we need? So I'll just put who I don't mind. Let's say we go with like a rotating 4.5s, and maybe we have to mix that up. But we'll say we go with Areola and Petrovic rotating, which is quite nice. And then in the back, who's that spare spot for? Wan-Bissaka. And then I'm looking up top. I probably want Solanke in there. And then what we got? 18.5. Is this a bench boost premium? No worries, Tony. Thanks for tuning in. If we go, are we going bench boost premium, Kurum, or are we going just a normal premium? I mean, this is looking like a bench boost premium. Maybe let's go bench boost premium. Let's go Thiago. And then how much we got in the midfield? Oh, do you know who I like at 5.5 mil? All right, we'll do a normal as well. I know you love Adingra, and Adingra can go in here as well, but another guy that's great, Harry Wilson at Fulham. He's been playing right wing, scored another 2 on free kicks, on set pieces. Like, looks nice at Fulham. Fulham have a real nice start. Brighton, United, Chelsea, Leeds, Brentford in the first 5. Attacking wise, I would consider Harry Wilson. And then you got 7 mil, Morgan Rogers. That's actually not bad. I don't mind that team at all. And like, if you wanted to save some money, and let's say this is a like rough draft of a bench boost team. I think that looks really nice. And this Watkins is obviously Gyökeres, right? If we need to save a 0.5, we can save it somewhere. Big on Rice this season. Might be my Arsenal bias. Yeah, I don't know about Rice, man. Like, obviously, previously in like 22, 23, 23, 24 season, he was picking up those sort of defensive contribution points. He didn't really do that last year because he's playing a bit higher. Joined from Bangalore, India, GV. I think I've seen you before, GV. Have you been in before or no? But welcome, man. Thanks for coming into the chat. Appreciate that. Nice that my reach is out there in India as well. If you want your team rated, mate, just chuck me a DM on Twitter or Insta, and we'll get your team up on the screen. Yeah, I thought you were around last season, mate. I was thinking Rice because he does set pieces too. Yeah, look, I think Rice's attacking potential is nice, but it's 6.5 mil. I don't know, man. You've got like Mo Kudus, who's playing attacking midfield for Spurs, who just looks a little bit nicer. But I don't really like that 6.5 mil price point. I think like Ndiaye, Kudus, all of those guys are all right. If we were to go for a non-bench boost, I'd probably get Areola, and I'd just put Kinski in at 4 mil. Hope that Vicario goes to AC Milan. And then back forward, the back 5 would probably be the same. Potentially Wan-Bissaka becomes a Steve. Kudus is the GOAT, mate. Be quiet. Get out of my chat, Niels. Kudus the GOAT, mate. Kudus the GOAT. I think Kudus is a good player. I think he had a bad season. I do think he's actually a good player. We'll see this season. If he becomes the GOAT, I'm going to buy you a Kudus shirt. And I'll ship it out to New Zealand for you. I'll actually do a custom Niels Kudus shirt at the end of this season off the merch store and off my Football Fan Fit store. I think Kudus will play consistently. I think we'll see. I think Spurs is hard to know with Thomas Frank coming in. I think he can play right wing or he can play cam, which gives him that option. I think if he plays consistently, he probably plays right wing. I almost think it's hard to move Maddison out. Wan-Bissaka, let's think about that one. Let's think about Wan-Bissaka. It's if we're not bench boosting, I'd consider old boy as Steve. Oops, what did I do? Oh yeah, but I mean, this could also be. I think the other Burnley centre back actually is too hard to pick. I think we just go Steve. Who would be nailed at defensive midfield for? I'd say Lukic and Burge probably played defensive midfield for Fulham. GV. Those would probably be the two guys that I would expect to start there. Kenny, yeah. I think it would be Lukic and Burge. I think they would be in that 4-2-3-1. All right. Where is this? Where's the extra money here? If we're not bench boosting, maybe you become a nobody, like a Ramsey or someone. Or actually, you can just be Belieber or someone at 5. We'll save some money. You can be Chido Obi at United, who's probably get a few minutes for United this year. Tete for Fulham. Oh yeah, I thought Tete was going to go. He was expiring contract, and then Fulham just came and signed him out of nowhere. Re-signed him out of nowhere. What's Tete's price point? 4.5. Anthony Robinson, 5. Calvin Bassey would be interesting. 4.5 at Fulham. But if I was going Fulham, I'd probably go Anderson. Anderson's quite nice for the defensive contribution points at 4.5 mil as well. It's quite good. That's probably where I'd go at Fulham if I was to go for a Fulham defender. I'm big on these defensive contribution points. Very big. Shall I shamelessly plug that video again? No, Karim will get upset with me. So we got 3 mil more to spend. So I don't know. Maybe this becomes Wirtz. I mean that's kind of a crazy team. That's a game week 1 non-bench boost premium with Wirtz. You'd be playing Tarkovsky, Virgil, Murillo. One of Rodon and Steve Belieber, which I think is fine. And then Palmer, Rogers, Salah, Wirtz, Gyökeres, Solanke. So wing-back's dead in the game now. No, they're not. But they'd have to be very good and well-priced. I just think that a wing-back, you have to think more carefully about the teams that they're playing against and target fixture swings. Whereas now the CBs with defensive contributions can just sit in your team. And it allows you to use those transfers in the midfield and the attack. And say you had an injury, you just play a 4 million centre-back now. And you just hope that he picks up the defensive contributions. And then you can save that transfer for the next week or something like that, where you wanted to use it somewhere else. Or where you need to roll a transfer so you have 2 the next week. So, yeah, just makes it a little bit easier. Solanke had a minor ankle injury when taking for game week 1. I didn't actually see that anywhere. That's super interesting, GV. Just, yeah, I mean, if you don't take Solanke for game week 1, there are a few other options around that price point. I really like the Spurs fixtures beginning of the season, but maybe we have a look at strikers then. We obviously got this guy as well. Like, we could go... You could go... Do you know what you could do? This would be... You could go Ekatike, get out of Wirtz, and go... Who have you got? 7.5. Well, you got Jetpack. No, I don't know. You already got... Yeah, I mean, there's a few options. I mean, you could even go like Bruno. You could go like a Bruno. You go Bruno, and you could go to like a Welbeck, or yeah, like someone like that. Have to embrace DEFCON 4. Yeah, lots of options. I think like those two here are ones then to have a think about what you want. And if you needed the extra 0.5, you maybe just bin off Belieber. You just bring in a 4.5 dud on the bench. But it just means you'd have only one cover, and it would be one over Steve and Radon. So be careful with not having any cover on the bench. I think Belieber at 5 is quite nice. All right, and now let's just do can you do a Haaland, Salah and Palmer? Yeah, I was gonna say, should we just do a crazy one and see if we can fit in everybody? I'm not sure if I can, but what would Morgan Rogers have to be? He'd have to be like nobody. 1 mil. Big Verge would have to go, or Tarkowski would have to go. I say Tarkowski's injured for game week 1. We go Wan-Bissaka. And then this is a team, let's say Watkins is Gyökeres. That's Gyökeres, Haaland, Palmer, Salah. That is crazy. That is actually... what would that team actually look like? You'd be playing 4 defenders every week because you have Ramsey, who's a no one. And you'd have OB on the bench. And like maybe you'd have to downgrade Van Dijk. But I just think the defenders are important this season. But I mean, that's pretty cool that you can actually fit in if you can Watkins. Yeah, I mean, I was just saying Watkins is like my Gyökeres replacement. But yeah, okay, let's say we don't have Gyökeres as well and we just do Salah, Haaland, Palmer. Then things are a bit nicer. You can have your Adingra shout in there. Like Tarkowski can't come back. Yeah, it is a bit difficult. Can't quite get... I think if I was to do this, I would probably have Igor Thiago. It would give me enough to then maybe have Morgan Rogers in here. I think Morgan Rogers at 7 mil is nice. Yeah. Or like another option is if you want to go into like a McNeil, Everton, or an Adingra, like whoever you want around this sort of price point. If you want a bit more cover, then it just gives you a bit more money to maybe do some other stuff. Or if you want Wan-Bissaka up to a Tarkowski, you could do something like that. You still have 0.5 in the bank. Like this could become Ndai if you prefer Ndai. Yeah, it does look decent. I really think that a Threemium works. Like you could even do you could easily have a bench boost Threemium in week 1. Like this could be like I reckon I could fit Slanky in here. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Not far away though. Nah, because I need a 4.5 as well. Yeah, it'd be too hard to bench boost Streaming. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't get rid of Verge. Can't get rid of Big Verge. And I think there's things that you have to accept that if you're gonna weaken your team too much, don't play the bench boost. Just don't play it. So yeah, I think we probably end up somewhere like this. I mean, this is a bit worrying for me because this is making me think about how I now liking this team more than my bench boost team. I'm actually I quite like this team. Haaland, Palmer, Salah. I think bench boost in game week 1 would be no Haaland, but it would be Gyökeres. I think you could do a threemium with Palmer, Salah, Gyökeres, no Haaland, and then you have a really nice bench boost for game week 1, and I think that's worth it. I think you could do something like this with Solanke, with Tarkowski. This is all of these look really nice, and I don't mind not having Haaland because I've got Gyökeres. I've still got 1 mil in the bench in the bank that I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Burnley defender guaranteed clean sheet for game week 2 against Sunderland at home. I think if you bench boost game week 1, you free hit in game week 2. I think you definitely free hit in game week 2. And honestly, my honest opinion, right? And this is another reason why I think bench boost game week 1 is right. Is there's a lot of variance early in the season in FPL because you're unsure, the games themselves, the managers are not sure what the other managers' tactics are going to be, right? So it's not as clear how they're going to set up offensively, how they're going to set up defensively. Whereas once you start getting it towards game week 10, middle of the season, all the managers sort of know the tactical setups of the other team. There's sometimes 1 or 2 surprises. As an FPL manager, I love the tactical side of stuff. I'll do a few videos in the season of tactically how teams set up, how things change, why players did this and why players did that. That's why I was talking to you about Leeds and how I think they're going to play. I think that's really key in terms of big point fluctuations. Someone might win a 5-1 or something because you just don't see that happening. And from an FPL perspective, you're not expecting that because it's not you don't think it's a great fixture. And we also don't know how the teams are going to set up, who's going to look good that season. So those first 6 to 8 game weeks, that's when all the variance is. And this is why people always talk about templates, because you understand what the tactics of the teams are going to be. You understand what players are going to play where. So you understand who a good player is. And therefore, templates emerge because you're just this guy's a good player at a good price point. I'm going to have him in my team. It makes a lot of sense. Whereas in those first 6 to 8 weeks, if you're able to use your chips, I actually think it's super beneficial. You can really pick up points when there is all of these variances by using your chips in those early weeks and being able to spread across different players. So don't make your team really weak for the sake of playing a bench boost. Like I was saying earlier, right? When we did that formium with Gyökeres, Haaland or whatever, I didn't want to get rid of Van Dijk. I'm not going to get rid of Van Dijk to play a bench boost. But if you have a team that looks like this, something like this for a bench boost, and if we look at it, we can even look at it on Plan FPL, and sort of look at how it looks for the rest of the season as well. I don't know if I have that screen somewhere. I'll try and find that screen. Yeah, I definitely consider doing that. Scott Parker is an Orthodox manager like Moyes, Dyche or Potter. Scott Parker's done a very good job there, hasn't he? He has done a very good job. Why don't we take out... Sorry, I don't know what I had on screen there. Why don't we take that bench boost team that we just came up with and just have a look at what that would look like in a game week 2. So we had Areola Petrovic, or even in the game week 3, because that's really what matters, right? What's going on? Who did we have in here? This was Watkins, but basically Gyökeres. This was Petrovic. Both Eagles are good. Igor Thiago and Igor Jesus. Yeah, but Chris Wood, man. Chris Wood. And then, did we have... This was actually the team, was it? Was that our team? We had like 0.5 in the bank. Oh, we had a Steve here, and we had 1 mil in the bank. Oh, I like Wan-Bissaka over a Steve. Yeah, 0.5 mil in the bank, bench boost. You really sort of... Then you go into game week 2, right? I don't really like the team in game week 2. I think you're looking at it, you got Solanke v Man City. The midfield looks all right. Salah, Rodgers, Palmer, Anderson, Gyökeres v Leeds, Thiago v Villa. That's not too bad. The back four... How we got Munoz in here? Reset that, Tarkovsky. Back four, Wamby against Chelsea is not ideal. Like, you'd maybe even consider doing like this and putting Rodon in against Arsenal, but depend on how Leeds go. The rest of it, that's not too bad, really. That's actually not too bad. You get Petrovic in goal. Even game week 2 is not too bad. But I still like a potentially free hit there if you don't love it. And then once you go past that, this team looks quite nice going forwards. Like Thiago, Solanke, Gyökeres, Ariola and Petrovic rotate quite nicely. Tarkovsky's probably going to play every game with Mario and Virgil. And like every week, you're sort of looking at it like my defence is not going to move because I'm looking for defensive contribution points. And if it so happens that Nottingham Forest get a clean sheet against Arsenal, he's going to get tons of points. Like he's going to get 4 for clean sheet, 2 for defensive contribution, probably some bonus. He might end up with a 10-pointer. So you've got that possibility as well. And it's more just looking at the attack and just seeing this Anderson-Belieber rotation. How does it work? And do I want to swap them in these sort of games? I probably would swap it in that game. Up top looks nice. And I've even got the extra 0.5 mil if I want to upgrade Thiago to a Welbeck. So going through those first few game weeks, like it's just really nice. Like the rotation between Anderson and Belieber is good. I mean, I'm looking at Watkins if he's Watkins, but I mean, I'm sure the Arsenal fixtures are not too terrible. What was Arsenal? Oh, okay. The Arsenal was actually a shitty fixture in game week 5. But I think like it's quite like the rotation's all right. And you're really just looking at the rotation for the attacking players because defenders, you're just going to leave them in there. Obviously, the goalkeepers matter. But these 2 goalies rotate really nicely every week, basically. And your attacking players, until you get to this Liverpool v Chelsea in game week 7, is just nice. And I think the only thing you're missing from this is Man City. And if Man City start bombing people in those first 8 games, living without Haaland's going to be tough. So that's the call that I think everyone's got to make. Like, I think Gyökeres or Haaland, and when to wildcard and when to free hit. And I think you should be trying to do it early. I think the free hit's got to be done early. I would not leave the free hit. That's the part I find difficult. Haaland v Gyökeres, the fear of no Haaland. Yeah. I think you just got to make a call. Like, I think you got to make a call. What of your team looks better with or without him? Like, I'm looking at this team now, like having discussed this today with you guys, and I love it. But if we looked back at game week 1 and we could go with Haaland, we just wouldn't bench boost in 1, and then when do you bench boost? I think if you go with Haaland in 1, you don't bench boost. I think if you go with a Threemium with Gyökeres, you can bench boost. And I think it's worth getting the bench boost out of the way. And then Wolves, Tottenham, City's first 2 games. Then Brighton in 3. Then United in 4. Haaland in 4 would be nice. Like a wild card in 4 into Haaland. Man United, Arsenal, Burnley, Brentford, Everton. Those are probably the fixtures you want him for, from 4 till 8. 4 till 10, really. And then you got Liverpool, Newcastle, 11, 12, and then City go on the most crazy run ever from 13 onwards. Game week 2 needs Arsenal players. How about Raya in goal, covering defence of Arsenal till game week 13? I just think game week 2, you just free hit. Or you start with Gyökeres and then you're good anyway. If he starts game week 1. Surely, if they buy Gyökeres, he starts game week 1, right? Like, why would you be Arsenal and not start that guy? It's what you've been crying out for. But then like 3, 4, 5, 6, like you don't really want Raya in goal for Liverpool, Forest, City, Newcastle. 3, 4, 5, 6, GV. I don't think that would be ideal. I'm not sure it would be ideal. But I like this team. Save and exit. Let's try a... Can we do this? I mean, how do you feel about no Palmer? How long have I been doing YouTube for? I started like game week 10, game week 11 last season, just because I used to watch people on YouTube and I was like, no, like to be honest, content creating is actually hard. Like doing the videos and the like graphics and the design. If you don't have someone to do that for you, it's hard, especially when you work full-time job. It's hard. But the content and talking about football and understanding it and telling you what's going to happen is super easy, man. That's why I can stream easily, because I just turn it on and I love chatting with you guys. And I've got like lots of interesting ideas, I think. It just annoys me because I watch content creators produce content about things that I've talked about like 3 days before. But like they have 40k views and you're like, come on, man. Come on. Help me out, YouTube. But anyway, it's all right. Hopefully we'll get there one day. But yeah, I like the streams. Sort of chatting. Shazada FOMO exists with Haaland. Thanks, man. Keep watching. Help me out. Watch through to the end of my videos, man. Watch hours. That's how YouTube pushes my videos out to more people. If you guys watch to the end of my video, even if you're not watching, just leave it on the side. That's fine. Don't worry. Click like. Leave it on. If you get bored of me. Oh, dear. Yeah. FOMO of Haaland, I understand. First 6. What about leaving Palmer out? Would that be something that people would consider? We haven't really looked at one where we've just left Palmer out. There's FOMO on Palmer as well. I feel like FOMO on Salah, FOMO on Palmer, FOMO on Haaland, and no one's had to have FOMO on Gyökeres yet. But maybe someone will have FOMO on Gyökeres after this season if he guns it. Let's go without Palmer and see how we look. I sort of have been enjoying this Belieber-Anderson rotation that we were looking at earlier. So let's go with that for now. And that Petrovic-Areola rotation looked really nice as the 4.5 mils as well. And then the guys that I'm not going without, Virgil. Sorry, my mic's gone somewhere else. BB should come out of nowhere in the first 7 game weeks when teams have settled before the international break. Well, you got to have bench players then that you have on your bench, but you're not thinking about playing. So 1 week without them can be detrimental. Yeah, I do agree with you, Karim, but you've got to pick a time where... I think you got to pick one, right? Like you sort of, it's hard to fit 3. I understand what you're saying. If I'm honest, I sort of hear what you're saying and I have the same feelings. I do have the same feelings, but I think you ultimately need to make a call on which draft you like the rest of your team better. And if it's the one with all three of them, no Gyökeres, no bench boost, then you do it. And you just leave your bench boost. Like, I think if you don't play your bench boost game week 1, don't plan for it. Just, if there's a week where you have a full bench that's playing, play it. Don't wildcard into a bench boost. Don't, like, it's going to ruin your team. Do not, I like almost just play a bench boost with like 3 out of 4 playing. I would rather do that than wildcard into a bench boost in the first half of the season. So I think I don't think bench boost is a great chip unless you play it in game week 1. Actually, I should very much support that, as I've just said that. Palmer gets 85 minutes for sure every game week. I wouldn't say that. He sometimes gets subbed off early. Mid and forward. Just like this Igor Thiago spot. Nah, without Palmer, I still don't really. In fact, I don't like it without Palmer. I don't like it. You can't do a bench boost without Palmer and Gyökeres in. It doesn't look nice. The budget's not there for it. Yeah, Enzo's nice. What's Enzo's price point? Yeah, 6.5. Somehow the team doesn't look that different without him. Yeah, it doesn't, but like then I don't have anybody for this 5 mil slot. Like, there's no one to play. I would have to this would become Tarkowski would maybe become Wan-Bissaka. And this would then become like Dwight McNeil, probably at 6 mil. That's probably my team then. Which I just think like it's okay, but it's just not quite as nice. It's okay. But I think going forwards that team doesn't look as nice. I think you struggle in that midfield without Palmer, like who you're playing. Like you really want to be playing. Then you're going to end up playing like a 4-3-3, which is something that that's another thing maybe we should discuss is structure of the team this season. I think playing 4 at the back could happen quite a lot. I would probably say I'm likely to potentially play 4 at the back more this year, depending on how Anderson and Baliba go. I think I'm going to have both of them now, as we've just looked at their rotations, and they rotate nicely. But I think if Anderson and Baliba look really nice, and they're picking up those defensive contribution points on lots of the weeks, then yeah, I'm probably just going to just roll with them. I'm probably going to run with them. I feel 4 at the back is a good shout. It's just 6 million defenders more valuable than 6 mil mid or striker. Yeah. Yeah. We can do that. We can actually show that. Let's show that. Let's run through value. Let's run through some values. So 4 point, like low point strikers. Here we've got price point, minutes played, points last season, goals and assists, expected goals per 90, expected assists per 90, expected both per 90. And then value, which is basically points divided by price. And the prices are all updated for this year. So 4.5 and 5 mil strikers, there's really no one. The people I would think about is Kostulas at Brighton, who's going to take some minutes off Welbeck, and Obi at United, because United is so crap and they don't have a striker. Sorry, not crap. Just don't have a striker that's any good. Those are probably and even Nemestra at Leeds actually has been getting a few minutes in pre-season, looks quite good. But I still think Perot and the other guy, forgot his name, are also going to play. No, we are crap. No, allow it. I always hate on United in my streams. I got to be nicer to them. Always hated on them. Mbumo Cunha, great signings. Amarim, I like him. All right. 5.5 to 7 or to 6.9. 5.5 to 6.5 basically. Raul, great value, like great points per price. 12 goals, 3 assists. Now Strand Larsen I think super underrated this season. Going to be on penalties with no Cunha. Last year 14 goals, 4 assists, value 22.31. By the way, this value PM is like value per minute played. I tried to like add another stat in that was like, see how, like for example, like Muniz at Fulham, like didn't play that many minutes, still managed to score 8 goals and 1 assist, had amazing expected goal involvement. So his value per minute was actually incredible last season. And then BBPS is like baseline bonus. So without goals, assists, clean sheets, like how many actions are they involved in, like their baseline BPS, and then obviously bonus points, and then first 5 games. So I think like in this price range, you got Beto, Strand Larsen, Raul, this Barry guy who's coming in that might take some minutes off Beto, Nick Jackson if he goes to United, Welbeck, Muniz, all guys that you can consider. Ferguson's obviously gone now. Igor Jesus and Thiago and Perot at Leeds are probably the guys that I think of. Rubber Ducky, quack. What's up, mate? How's life? What's going on, bro? And then, yeah, if we look at like top tier forwards, Wood, like just unbelievable last year. But he does this every year in FPL to me. There's a stretch of Chris Wood where he just bangs points, man. And last year, like I even said I'm gonna have him. I had him the whole time, and then I benched him for the hat trick. And like, you should have shot me. Anyone? I think I did a live stream of the game, and I was just there, just like, I hate life. I'm an idiot. Wood is in my draft. Do you want to tweet me a draft or Insta post me a draft, Rubber Ducky, and I'll put it up on screen. We can go through it, have a chat through. Where else so Bowen, I think although Bowen's value's up there, obviously his goals are going to be worth 1 point less this season, so take out 13 from his point total. He's probably take out a few bonus as well. I think he's a lot less good value, which is a shame, because I loved Bowen. He'd have been straight in my draft this year. Watkins is a bit underrated at 9 mil, but if Gyökeres comes in at that price point, he's never going to get a gig, Watkins, in any team. Isak, wait and see where he ends up. This is really the price point where all of these guys look nice. Like, everybody looks nice here. There's no one that like doesn't look nice, except for Havertz. But yeah, the value players, Wissa, Wood, Watkins. I still like Watkins, even though like he's not even on pens. Like, he's just the main man at Villa. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the midfield. So midfield less than 5.4 mil. Don't know what Murphy's in there. Need to revisit this probably. I didn't update the midfield price points then, did I? Yeah, that's a shame. No point looking at this. Yeah, no point looking at this today. Yeah, no point looking at this today. Didn't update the midfield price points. Sorry to all. Rubber Ducky, talk to me, mate. I'll update those midfield price points for our next stream. Where did you send it on Twitter or Insta? Oh, Niels, are you around? Niels, you still here? You put your draft in. Do I make all the graphics myself? Yeah, unfortunately. That's why they're not that good. I'm not a creative. I know football, but I'm not a creative. I'd love some help if you know anybody good that's willing to just do them for free for me. I'm a stingy bastard as well, so I don't like to pay money for stuff. They're decent. Ah, thanks, man. That's nice of you. That is nice of you. That does make me feel good because that's probably the stuff that I find most difficult. And when I do see content creators, that's why I sort of appreciate the work they do, because a lot of the presentation and like that sort of stuff is not easy. It's not easy. Strand Larson is a season-long hold keep. Yeah, I like Strand Larson as well. I think he's top draw. Nobody's seen this draft, so you're all very lucky. Where did you post it, mate? Oh yeah, Twitter. I got you. Thank you for the privilege, my friend. Here we go. The first ever look, FPL Rubber Ducky. Jordan Pickford. Wow. Jordan Pickford. That's the first time I've seen Jordan Pickford in a DM. In a DM. It's the first time I've seen Jordan Pickford in the draft. I mean, he's been the top scoring goalkeeper for the last two FPL seasons, but 5.5 million feels expensive. And Everton also at the start of the season, missing Tarkowski and Branthwaite at the moment. These changes are massive. No one seems to want Gvardiol. Simon, yeah, I think so. I think Gvardiol's yeah. I think because Man City also generally don't have that much DCs, Defcons. I don't really like the Defcon. I don't know if I like it or not. It's very fixtures based, as we don't really know much. Yeah, okay. I think just consider that if Tarkowski and Branthwaite are still out for the beginning of the season, that Pickford pick becomes a little bit less nice. But if they're both back, then obviously Everton, nice fixtures and good defensively. Cox, Brentford, is he backup keeper at Brentford? Yeah, just put Kinski in there for Spurs for now. Like, he might get some minutes. Vicario might move to Milan. Just stick him in, see what happens. Aina Ait Nuri Kukurea. So you are still back in the fullbacks. So I will point you to my video on Defcons of defensive contributions. I think it's very overpowered. Like, honestly, like this season, I would be picking as many defenders as you can that you think are going to consistently get those points. But I would say make sure that they're averaging above 10 CBIT per game. If they're 9.5, okay, maybe, but anything under that, no point. I'd rather go for a fullback. I don't think it is, honestly. Good to have the conversation because I like to have the differing point of views on the channel, but I think it's being massively underrated. It's only 2 points max, yeah, but it's consistently 2 points each game that allows you to have defenders in your team that you don't need to change. Like, you can just keep them regardless of the fixture difficulties, which allows you to then focus your attacking transfers on your midfielders and attackers. And if you look at the points that some of these defenders would have got, for example, a Mario or a Tarkowski, yes, thank you. Brain freeze. Like, just look at this on the screen. Like, Mario would have ended up with 176 points last season. That's crazy. Like, this is, I normalize this data, right, for 36 games, so it's roughly accurate. Like, it just makes such a huge difference. Like, on the left, those are the ones with the defensive contributions. On the right, there's the same players without them. Like, that's massive. Like, it's going to make such a big difference this season. And similarly so, maybe not similarly so for the midfielders, but for the midfielders, it allows you to have somebody that you just sort of stick there as like maybe one duff guy that might pick up additional points. But more so for the defenders for me. I think it's super overpowered. Super overpowered this year. Seabrit is even tougher with 12 giving 2 points as against Seabit giving 2 for 10. Yeah, I think the midfielders is a bit different. Like, I don't think it's overpowered for midfielders. I think you just got a couple of more options to pick for and DMs. There might be someone that appears. What's the best 4.5 defender for DEFCON? Have you looked at the games where the Seabit is gained? It's in the tighter games where clean sheets are rare. Give me clear a clean sheet over a risky CIBT. Yeah, but like what I'm saying is in the games that they have good fixtures, you're going to play them because they have clean sheet potential. And then in the games where they don't have good fixtures and don't have good clean sheet potential, you can still play them and pick up 2 points, like 4 points for a defender. So you don't have to transfer your defenders out as much if you play these players. And just look at the points they're picking up at the end of the season, like 176. Like if you go, like honestly, go and watch the video I did on this. If you still disagree, fair. But like I really think this is just a huge difference, like a huge difference. And you're still picking players that you're expecting to get clean sheets. Like I still expect Nottingham Forest to be a good defensive side this year. I still expect Everton to be a good defensive side this year. I expect Liverpool to be a good defensive side. And I'm picking Mario, Van Dijk, Tarkowski. Nobody else. Those are my three. The others that would maybe be considered... Who said best 4.5 mil? I got my spreadsheet somewhere. Let me have a quick squeeze for you at the 4.5 mil. I think it was Collins. No, Guay. Pinnock at Brentford, if he plays. Anderson at Fulham. And Agabadu at Wolves. Mavropanos at West Ham. And Guay, he was okay at Palace. Chris Richards, I think, as well. Palace. It's probably my favourite one, Chris Richards. Mids with Seabrit is better and with guaranteed 90 minutes, but they are susceptible to yellow cards. Yeah, because you don't have the effect of the minus points for getting spanked by a good team. Like, yeah, Richards is good. Yeah, like if you guys want the numbers on these guys, if you just leave a comment on my other video and I'll reply to you with the numbers on the defensive contributions one. I can give you all the numbers for the people. Yeah, it's just hard work doing it at the moment. But I can get back to you on any players that you want. I've got it all modelled out for every player. So you think Richards is better than Concert? Yeah, much. Well, so this is where like the Palace one, like what Rubber Ducky's saying is completely valid. Like Aston Villa for clean sheets potentially is better than Crystal Palace no clean sheets and just defensive contributions. So in terms of defensive contributions, yes, Richards is better. But would I have Richards over Concert? Not 100% sure I would. Yeah, Chris Richards of Palace, yeah. Seabit replace BPS then? No, because you get BPS on top of that. So you keep a clean... Like, Mario keeps a clean sheet, gets 2 defensive contributions, probably gets a couple of bonus points, ends up with 10-pointer. So there's still BPS as well, but it's just, like, definitely catered towards the defenders a little bit more. Anyway, on this team, Rub Ducky, midfield looks nice. I see you've gone Rice. Interesting, because he's probably a C-bit winner. But also playing a bit more of an attacking role, I think, last season, looking to this season on the set pieces as well. McNeil, I like. He's somebody that I had in a few of my drafts as well. I think under-talked about, underrated, great value last season at 6 mil, really nice. I wish he was on pens. But takes free kicks, so very nice. Palmer, obviously great. Palmer JP double up, interesting. I thought João Pedro looked incredible for Chelsea in the Club World Cup, and I think people underrate that. I thought he did look really good, and Chelsea with good early fixtures, he could be a really nice pick. Double up, a bit scary, but The CBIT didn't take into account a lot of the players with yellow card magnets, losing a point, and BPS chances. Like ultimately the total points takes that into account. So when you look at what they would have ended up on total points wise, definitely does have that consideration. But yeah, I mean, realistically, like if you think about it, they're not going to yes, they're probably more likely to get yellow cards. I completely agree with you. Ultimately, I think is it 6 yellows if you pick up, you get banned. So in the first half of the season. So like max they're going to get, I would say maybe like 6 yellows in the first half. But in that first 18 games, I'd probably expect them to be getting maybe 10, 11 defensive contribution points. If we're talking about Tarkovsky and Mario. And that's going to be like 20, 22 points minus the 6. That's extra 16 points still. I would definitely take that over not taking that. That's 5 assists, man. Your wing back's got to get 5 assists or 3 goals, and that's on top of potential goals and assists that they're already getting. So, I hear what you're saying. I totally hear what you're saying, but I still think it's overpowered for defenders. Still think it's overpowered. I've done the modelling for it as well, and it just comes out like that. Like it just comes out like, especially Tarkovsky and Mario. I would say not for all defenders, but for those two in particular, I say should be locks in everybody's side if Tarkovsky's fit for game week 1. And then Virgil's just nice because he's already a good option. And the fact that he's at the same price point anyway as a Frimpong or a Kirkez, who I was probably looking at before, I just go Virg because he's going to have the same clean sheets anyway. So it's not like I'm doing anything different for clean sheets, but he's also just getting like an extra 20 points, which is like an extra 4 goals on top of the 4 goals he probably already scores in the season. I went Haaland over Salah as not of mid options, unlike forwards. Mixed fixtures for Liverpool, and we will see very quickly if City and Haaland are back. I expect them to come out flying. I have a feeling they might as well, mate. I do have a feeling they might as well. Lafay of Sunderland. And Robinson. Robinson's an interesting one. I haven't seen many for him. But yeah, I think I like your midfield. I like João Pedro. I like Haaland. Chris Wood interests me. I'd maybe potentially go Solanke if I did like earlier said that he had a minor ankle injury and might not be fit for game week 1, which I hadn't seen. But if that is the case, then fair enough on Chris Wood. But otherwise, yeah, I like Tottenham's fixture run early. Forest is decent as well, and given that they've kept Gibbs White, that's great. But losing Elanga is quite big for them as well. Yeah. God, I can't trust Spurs. That is totally fair. But I reckon Solanke will be on pens as well this year because Son's going to have a lot less minutes and a bit of a reduced role. So that could also help out as well, I think. Cool. Yeah, no Salah. Interesting. Could you fit Salah into that team as well, or would you have to make too many sacrifices there? You're quite big at the back, I guess. Yeah, probably couldn't fit Salah in as well. Too many sacrifices. You'd have to downgrade a few guys. But if you downgraded, no, you couldn't get that. I don't think you can get to Salah. No, but I think like overall, mate, like I understand, and I think like if what you say works out, and the fullbacks are better, then your team's going to come out better, for sure. Your team's going to come out better. I think Aït-Nouri looked really good in the Club World Cup. Offensively, I would say for City, he looked like a real vulnerability defensively in the Club World Cup. There were a few teams, and I think they will start doing this in the Premier League, that were targeting him with the crosses because he's quite small, struggling under those balls, whereas City normally have very tall defenders. But going forwards, Aït-Nouri looked unreal. like he was going to get goals and assists. So he's a really nice pick with that City fixture run at the beginning. Yeah, definitely think that's a nice one from you. Could be very underrated. Especially if you're targeting fixture swings and you get it correct. I think if you go fullbacks, maybe this is probably a more accurate opinion. If you go fullbacks and you target their fixture swings and you get it right with the transfers, then you probably come out well from this. If you go fullbacks and they score their goals and gets their assists in the tougher fixtures that you don't have them playing for, you're going to get murdered by defensive contributions. Murdered. So the results of centre-backs v wing-backs is going to depend on what games the wing-backs get their goals and assists and when you have them in your team, which it is, I guess, every season. So I think like those defensive contribution points are just more, you're going to get them if you get them. Jake O'Brien will start or minutes risk? Look, I think if Branthwaite and Tarkowski are both fit, O'Brien's not going to start. Branthwaite and Tarkowski are their first choice Everton centre-backs. But at the moment, Tarkowski hasn't played anything in pre-season. I think O'Brien's still training by himself. Sorry, not O'Brien. Branthwaite's still training by himself. So at the moment, it looks like O'Brien probably plays game week 1. But long-term, not ideal, in my opinion. Long-term, not ideal. Niels, are you around, mate? Sorry, that was not what I meant to do. If we flick back here, while I just quickly look for Niels' team. With the fullbacks, don't forget you get C-bit for starting attacks. So look for the players who look to receive the ball going forward. That would be you don't get them for starting attacks for defenders. You only get them for the midfielders. Like that's like the recoveries plus starting the attack one. It doesn't actually affect the defenders. That's only for the midfielders. Like when they recover the ball and then start an attack, they get the extra point. But for the defenders, they don't have that included as part of the requirements or the rules. But yeah, otherwise that would make a big difference because players like Aït-Nouri, Wan-Bissaka, Munoz would be great for that. Munoz is actually like pretty good for defensive contribution points anyway. He's probably somebody I'd consider. I just want to message Niels quickly. It's quite late for him. He's probably got the kids. I'll get him to do this. I'll tell him I'm doing this draft. Yeah, I think with this one, you got Trafford and Kelleher. Like Trafford, if he plays for City at 5 mil, is going to be a steal. We'll see what happens with Edison. I know Galatasaray put in a bid for him. I think Edison probably stays, but I think Trafford might get that number 1 gig. Too soon to tell, especially with Pep. I think he probably rotates them. Back 3, Gabriel, Wan-Bissaka, Aïna. I guess Gabriel, like just a goal threat. Not good for defensive contributions, but just such a goal threat. You don't like why the assist rule does not count passes outside the box. It shouldn't. Does not count passes outside the box. It shouldn't make a difference. It's if it's deflected from. I mean, we can go through the rules. If it's deflected from a player, to then go outside the box and then received by an attacker outside the box, then it doesn't count. But if your cross is like deflected and the other attacker then receives it inside the box, even if they weren't the intended target, it still counts. But if they are the intended target and it's deflected and they still get it, then it's fine, even if it's outside the box. So there's like a few nuances, but to be honest, the assist rule is good because they're giving more assists. Like this, I'm pretty sure that the rules used to be like this for FPL. I don't know when they changed, to be honest, but they used to just give assists. Like if your guy kicked the ball, it got deflected and landed on another guy and he scored, it was an assist. I don't know why that ever changed. Like they just tried to make it way too complicated. Like they've made this absolutely effing terrible website this year, which is like the worst thing I've ever seen, is the FPL website this year. It logs you out every 5 minutes. I have to consistently log in again all the time. Trying to like filter for players is the worst thing ever. Like the filter is awful. The layout is awful. The colors are awful. Everything about the new website is just so bad. FPL, you obviously do not watch my stream because I'm nobody, but if you ever do, like you do some of the stupidest things ever. But I love the defensive contributions. I think it's really good that it's included some new players. FPL ended up guessing what was intended, which was redunculous. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was stupid. The assist, what they did for the assist was just stupid. But I think like it's a bit better now. Like I think it should just be an assist. Like I don't understand why FPL thinks they can decide things. Just if it's an assist, it's an assist. If it's not, it's not. Like whatever. Just doesn't make sense. But at least more assists. Bonus. I think the rules that they brought in are good this year. Like the rules that they brought in are good. I'm not convinced by the double chips, but it's good for casual players. Very good. You keep everybody engaged. It's nice. My mates stay engaged longer. I can tell them that I'm better than them for longer in the season. So yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Okay. All right, guys. If you haven't already, please smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. It will really help me. I'm obviously a small content creator trying to get some more traction in this FPL world. If you like my content, if you enjoy me chatting absolute crap with you, help me out. And I will continue to help you guys try and win your mini leagues. Niels, for what it's worth, if you are going to watch this later, back five, love Tarkovsky, like Adogi, would move Einar for probably Nico Williams or Murillo. Fine with Gabriel and Wan-Bissaka. Looks like you're probably bench. Oh no, you're not bench boosting. You've got Ramsey on the bench, so I'd just maybe go downgrade one of your goalies, get an extra 0.5 million to go up to Murillo from Einar. Midfield, I remember you saying you're big on Rice. Lots of people have been, so I won't convince you out of it. Could be very good this year. Salah great, Palmer great. Marmoush is interesting, very interesting to get into that Man City at that price point. I've not thought too much about that, and I will have a think about that. I might be able to fit him into my draft somehow, and then sacrifice Haaland and go Gyökeres. So I like that. Very nice. Solanke, Wood, Muniz. Not convinced Muniz is going to start for Fulham. He's obviously rotating with Raul Jimenez. If he does, he's excellent. His value's been really good, as we saw on like a previous slide. When he plays, he often is involved in big chances, scores goals. Very good player. I like Muniz. I think he's excellent. If he can get that starting spot of Jimenez, he's going to be awesome. If not, what's his price point? Is he 6.5? Muniz 5.5. Yeah, I mean, no one really at that price point. You'd probably have to go up to Igor Thiago at Brentford, who I expect to start for them. And then maybe a downgrade elsewhere. You won't want to downgrade Rice. So. Yeah, maybe the 0.5 from Kelleher goes to Moniz to Thiago, if you have to. No, you hate me for that. And then, and then maybe you just go like a Dogi down to a 4 mil, like a Rodon, and Aina up to Murillo. That's what I would do. If you, I think your team looks perfect. If like really nice if you do that. Aina up to Murillo, a Dogi down to Rodon, and Moniz up to Igor Thiago. Those are my changes. The rest looks real nice. Cool, guys. Any more people that want to chuck their team in? Or if not, I am considering wrapping up soon. Or unless you guys have some more questions you want to talk through, happy to go through some more stuff with you guys. Otherwise, I kind of thought there'd be more teams. Oh, Ribena 27, you in the chat? Can do your team now if you are. Is that you, Rob? Yeah, all right, mate. Let me just whack you in. Straight in. No messing around. Wait, actually, before, I just want to read what you said. Okay. Cool. Nonto has been good in pre-season though, mate. But I think, did you get, I can't pronounce that guy's name, but Paxina? I thought he was in. Or was he like just, oh, hasn't officially signed yet. Yeah, it'd be good signing from Feyenoord. Okay, so Trafford, Kelleher in goal, fine. I think maybe even Areola for Kelleher. Like West Ham have that nice fixture game week 1. Assuming you're not bench boosting game week 1, he signed Lucas Perry. Yeah. I've got a sneaky like second team, which is like I'm in a league with some mates of how to lose FPL, and I got Melier in there. Back 5. Munoz, yeah. Creepy, Conser. I don't love Conser as a 4.5 mil. I'd rather like a Wan-Bissaka. I do like Villa's fixtures, but I don't know, I just feel like Wamby's a bit nicer. Bogle, is he fullback at Leeds? I don't. He's right back. Is he right back? You're a Leeds fan. He's the right back, right? Yeah, right back. I'd go road like actually as you're a Leeds fan, this would be really helpful. My assumption is that Rodon and Bijo will be the starting centre backs, and then Stroik maybe rotates in every now and again or plays left back. Is that an accurate assumption for how Leeds are going to set up this year? Yeah, Lucas Perry starts. Meslier will go somewhere, and Darlow will be the backup, probably GV. Yeah, Bijo suspended game week 1, yeah, but once he comes back, they'll be the pairing. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's sort of what I thought for Leeds. That's why I think Joe Rodon's such a nice pick. Morning, Paul. Great timing for you, mate. Yeah, that's why I thought Rodon was such a great pick for Leeds, because I think he's going to pick up quite a few defensive contributions for them. So I'd probably go with him over Bogle, because you'll get like the extra 2 points probably each game week for him. Rob. De Kuyper, I think, is being a bit overrated. He's come from the Belgium league. Like, his stats are nice, but he played in Belgium, man. Like, the league's easy. Of course, he's going to get more attacking returns. At that 4.5 mil, I think I really only like Wan-Bissaka. I don't particularly love anybody else around that price point. I would say, oh, Niels, you just missed me review your team, mate. Got to do it again. Niels and Paul both here. Yeah, I think I've spoken a lot on this stream about defensive contribution points, and Rubber Ducky's gonna just kick off with me in a minute if I keep going at it. But I really think that they're super overpowered this year. If you haven't seen my video on it, just go and watch that. It will probably give you all the info that you need. Collins at Brentford is nice for those at 5 mil as well. But I'd also just consider downgrading Kukurea down to like a Murillo or a Tarkovsky. I think they both have really, if Tarkovsky's fit for game week 1, that is, they both have really nice fixtures as well as Chelsea over those first few game weeks. Drafts are interesting, Paul. Drafts are interesting. A lot of discussion about the defensive contribution points and the defense. We've done a few threemium drafts, which looked really nice earlier, and an attempt at a formium with Gyökeres, Haaland, Salah and Palmer, which didn't quite get there. But there was a few Salah, Palmer, Haalands and Salah, Gyökeres, Palmers, and those looked nice. And it was, I think, the call was between Gyökeres and Haaland in those drafts of what we looked at. And we even managed to do like a Salah, Palmer, Gyökeres bench boost. So that back five, like Munoz, I think is real nice. Good for attacking returns, good for defensive contributions. I think Bogle to Rodon, you should do for sure. Collins at 5 mil for Brentford is okay. I think it's okay, but Brentford just like clean sheet. I'm not sure if that's worth it. I'd maybe just leave Konsa for the clean sheets. I'm not sure Brentford can keep the clean sheets, and Villa's fixtures are a lot nicer. So even if you save that 0.5 million, let's go through the rest of the team, have a look how we go. If you downgrade Kukurea to a Tarkovsky, and then maybe you go De Kuiper up to a Murillo, and then I'm going to keep saying this to everybody, but those two I think are just like, you've almost got to have them. Cap C. All right, mate, we'll get you in this stream then, shall we? Send me a team on Twitter or Insta. I'll bring you up next, Cap. Just because I promised I would do that video for you and I haven't done it yet. Midfield, Saka is the one when Gyökeres comes in. Will he be on pens? So for me, that's a little bit risky in there with Saka. Lafay's interesting. I think what's his price point? Because he's a nice little playmaker. He's 5 mil. Yeah, I mean Lafay's quite nice at 5 mil. I don't mind that as a pick. There's not really a lot of fight. You got maybe Lafay and Baliba. Those are the only ones at 5 mil. That I think, because Nonto's 5.5, isn't he? So Nonto, yeah, I like. If Pixina comes in and he's more expensive and you can't afford him, maybe go to Elliot Anderson, who's quite nice. I want Gyok, sure, so I have to drop Saka to make the room. Lafay is on corners, etc. Yeah, Lafay's nice. 5 mil's nice at 5 mil for Sunderland. Wissa obviously might move, so keep an eye out for that. You want Gyok, yeah, so I think move Saka. Go Gyökeres in for Solanke or Wissa. Solanke, G was saying he had a minor ankle injury. I haven't heard that, but if that is the case, then yeah, maybe for Solanke. And then Saka down to, this is the question. Almost you feel like you can spread your funds a little bit if you move on Saka. You maybe go down to Rodgers, and then you can bring in like a Marmouche or a... Who did he bring in? You upgrade your defence a little bit, maybe. If we sign Muniz, he's going in my team. Can't lie. Muniz would be a great signing. If you sign Muniz, he's going to start first choice strike. I like Paroe, man. I think he's good. To be honest, I think Leeds attacking players are all pretty good. To be honest, it's kind of. I think you guys would be really hard to pick who's going to start in your attack, especially if you sign Muniz. Yeah, GV knows. GV's in the knowledge about Solanke. Yeah, so I think Saka goes. I think you then spread your money. You spread your money a little bit more. You can upgrade the defense a little bit. You can get in. Maybe you can get in Tarkovsky and Murillo for De Kuyper and Konsa. You don't have to lose Cucurella if you still want him. That does make your defense a bit exy. Maybe you don't do that. You can just spread the. I think you've got funds for fun at the moment. You can go up. You can go up to Gyökeres easily with 1.5 mil, and maybe you just come down Saka to Rodgers, and you got another 1.5 mil. You upgrade the Kuiper to Tarkovsky, and you upgrade Konsa to Murillo. You good? Or you move Nonto when Puxina comes in. That would probably be an extra 0.5. He probably comes in at 6. Ferrari starts over Aronson for sure if we play a cam. Yeah, okay. Will he still be on pens though? I think Moniz will be on pens if he comes in, Yeah, I can't spell his name. I'll say his name. Puxina, whatever. Feyenoord guy is the correct. Feyenoord guy is the correct wordsmithing. Nemetcha's good as well. He's been good in pre-season. Leeds of attacking players have all been good in pre-season. Nonto, Nemetcha, Peroi, all of these guys. Posted on a team on X, Paul. Nice. No, Rob, no worries, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll give you advice every week, mate. No worries. No stress. Yeah, next thing you'll have to think about when you want to use those chips, whether you want to bench boost in game week 1. Like, what you could do is you could upgrade Krupi Jr. to like a Igor Thiago or a Peroi and just bench boost in game week 1. Cap C, sent a request on Insta. Beautiful Cap. Just accepted you, Cap. Send me a team. And Paul, you posted it on X, did you? Paul, do you mind sticking it in the DMs on X? It's just a bit easier for me to pull up on screen. I'll try and get it up for now, but it's just going to look a bit weird. I'll just do Cap while I'm waiting for you. I did tell him I would do him next. He gets upset on Cap. My good mate Cap. He has a go at me. He's always having a go at me. Don't worry, Cap. I love you, really. You're always entertainment on the streams. Yeah, no, sorry, never upset. Kelleher Petrovic. Yeah, so we were looking at Areola Petrovic rotation. We thought that looked really good earlier on stream. So just check that out. Maybe you want to go Areola over Kelleher. That first fixture as well against Sunderland's quite nice. Mario Wambi, Udogie, Konsa. It's a nice back 5, to be honest. Anything I would change? Maybe an Udogie to a Tarkovsky, but otherwise nice. I like Salah, Palmer, Saka, Ndai, Caicedo, Wood, Watkins, Obi. All right, so what I would say about... good Cap. What I'd say about the midfield, I like Salah, love Palmer. I think Ndai is a great option on pens as well. If Gyökeres comes in, he probably takes pens off Saka. I'm not sure if immediately, but I'm sure he will. I think he had quite a few and didn't miss any last season. So potentially you would bring in Gyökeres for Wood and maybe downgrade Saka. If you did that gives you 2 options. You downgrade Saka to somebody that's like 8.5 mil, maybe like a Marmoush or a Rodgers. And then you get a little bit of extra money maybe you're able to upgrade Obi to like a Paroe or a Thiago and bench boost in game week 1, or you just upgrade like a Dogi to a Tarkowski at the back, which would be a really nice upgrade. Saka to Rodgers, Wood to Gyökeres. That's probably where I'd go, and then maybe upgrade Dogi to Tarkowski or Obi up to like an Igor Thiago and try and bench boost. I think bench boost in game week 1's a really nice week to bench boost. I talked about it a lot on this stream. Why? Just feels like if you don't bench boost in game week 1, don't wild card into a bench boost. I would just randomly pay a bench boost whenever you think your bench is the strongest. Even if you have one guy that's not playing on your bench, it's not worth ruining your team for... Paul, by the way, I don't know if you heard me. Can you just chuck your team in an Insta DM? X DM, rather than commenting on the post, just because it's easier for me to pull up on stream. All right, Cap. Well, I appreciate you joining. Have a think about what I said. Hopefully that helps. Much love, bro. Catch you soon. Gyökeres should be maximum 9.5. That way we save 0.5 million. I would love Gyökeres to just come in at like 8.5. Same as Ekatike. That would be amazing. It's not going to happen, but I think he comes in at 9. Maybe he comes in at 9.5, actually. Maybe he comes in at 9.5. See you, Cap, mate. Have a good day. Enjoy. When is this I'm hoping it comes out soon, man. Let's have a look if it's come. I thought it would come out today, but I don't think he's out yet. No. Let's just do a refresh. I'm not going to put this on the screen while I'm putting my password in. Or my email. But sometimes, like, just FPL, this is why it's the worst bloody site change ever. Oh my god, you have to log in so many times. It's like the colors are awful, the search functionality is awful. Just everything about the way they've changed the site is so bad this season. So bad. Like, I hate it so much. I'm going to moan about this like all day. On every stream, I'm just going to be moaning. Paul messages. Thank you. Got your changes to BBD in game week 5 and free hit in game week 7. Alright, Paul, that's perfect, mate. Thank you. Look at that. Nice and clean. Kelleher, Darlow. Yeah, so obviously Darlow are in the process of signing Lucas Perry, which means that he's going to be their main keeper. Meslier probably leaves Darlow as the bench keeper. So if you want a 4.0, maybe go Kinski, because Vicario still might leave for Tottenham. See you, Cap. What? There's 2 of you, Cap. Because Vicario might leave Tottenham, and then Kinski would be a 4.0 starting goalkeeper for Spurs, which would be crazy. Gabriel, Guardiola, Colwill. You said Guardiola was moving in game week 5 for VVD, which is fine. The Wanby and Heaven. Yeah, so 4.0 mil defenders. I think Rodon is the best one for Leeds. And just my thoughts on Leeds, and I don't know if Rob's still around in the chat. He was a Leeds fan. But I think Leeds are quite well structured to be a good counter-attacking team this season, because they have super pacey attackers, like Dan James and those sort of players. So I think they may play a bit more direct, or at least faster out from the back, which might result in a few more clearances. I also think Rodon probably attacks the first ball a little bit more for Leeds, so he's probably one to get good CBIT. And obviously they're not going to have as much possession as other teams, being one of the newly promoted teams. Probably results in more defensive actions. So I like Rodon for game week 1 as my favourite 4.0 mil defender. Obviously Bijo is suspended, otherwise I'd probably have him. Kinski's been most of my drafts. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, or B-Joel, because B-Joel's like definitely nailed for Leeds. I think Rob was saying he also agrees Radon's probably the other centre back, but may rotate a little bit with Stroik. I can't say that name. But Stroik could also play left back for them. So if you're not going to bench boost in one, which it doesn't look like you are, maybe just put Bijo in, even though he's suspended in game week 1 for the future. Wan-Bissaka's nice. Kinski's been most of your drafts. Cool. And then Colwill at 5 mil. Let's work on getting him out for a Mario or Tarkovsky. Otherwise, midfield, Salah, Bruno, Palmer, Rogers, Anderson. I love that. I've got no discussion points. I think Bruno's a great pick. If it wasn't for that Arsenal fixture in game week 1, he'd be in my team. I'd probably free hit in game week 2, and I'll have Bruno. Yeah, I'm still looking at new teams, Ray. If you send it to me in the DMs on X or Twitter or Instagram, just let me know when you've done, and I'll pull it up after I've done this one. And then up top, Bowen, Evanilson, Scarlett. Now here I've got some thoughts. Evanilson's fixtures are brilliant after game week 1. It's not Evanilson actually, surprisingly, that I have more of the issue with Bowen. Obviously he's got a nice game week 1 fixture and like reasonable fixtures over the first 6, but I don't know, man. I just think. No, do you know what? You can sell me on this. You can sell me on that. I think it's all right. Yeah, sure thing, Daniel. Whoever comes up next on the list when I look at X, I'll just go through them. You can sell me on that. I don't mind it. I'll give you some options. I think other options are just for if you want to upgrade maybe a Colwill up to a Tarkovsky or a Mario at 5.5. You maybe go down to an Igor Thiago at Brentford. Also nice fixtures. 6 mil, going to be their starting striker. I think even if Wissa's still there, probably. Otherwise, Solanke at Spurs, if he's fit for game week 1, probably on pens with Son getting a lesser role. Those would probably be my thoughts. And that does give you a little bit more budget, especially if you go Thiago at 6 mil. Very untalked about, very underrated. Hey, Luca, what's up, bro? That's 2 mil that saves you that you can spend elsewhere. Which I think is interesting. Which could even lead you to bench boost. You could end up going Scarlett to like Strand Larson at 6.5 or Welbeck and end up bench boosting game week 1. But I've got to say, Paul, a Bowen or an Evanilson, either one, whichever one you like least. But I've got to say, Paul, I like your team, to be honest, mate. I just wish I could find a 0.5 to upgrade Colwill. That's all I think. I wish I could just find 0.5 to upgrade Colwill. Otherwise, I've got no issues with any of the rest of your team at all. I understand why you're moving Guardiola to Van Dijk as well. So. Bruno Brace today had me excited. I think I'll have him in to start the season. Hopefully, isn't a repeat of last season. Yeah, Bruno's looking for a way into my team. Any other thoughts, Paul, on that, or I'll find it. 0.5, yeah. Yeah, I just think it would be real nice if you had that 5.5. Even if you probably want the Arsenal defender, but you could go Gabriel to Tarkovsky, Colwill to Mario. Cool. Thanks, Paul. Hey, Mahir, what's good, bro? What's good? Thank you for the joining, bro. Great to see you. Hope all's well, man. We should catch up soon. Shoot me a text. I'm going overseas on Friday to make my international debut for Cyprus in the T20 international match against Croatia. I'll be playing next week. I'm going to try and do some, vlogging, whatever. I can't pronounce words. When I'm over there, and maybe of the trip, and yeah, some of it will probably be streamed on YouTube, so I'll send you the link when I find it, mate. But yeah, man, let's catch up soon whenever you're free. I feel like I haven't seen you guys for a long time. Cricket season is back. Cricket season's back, baby. Yeah, I got 2 weeks on tour in Croatia. Then I'm back in Oz for a few weeks, and then I got a month and a half touring around Europe. I want as much of my set and forget defense as I can get. Gabriel will be in my team. Fair enough. I think Mario and Tarkovsky are going to be set and forget for me as well. Yeah, Luca, no worries, man. I will have a lekker trip, bro. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that, man. Just hopefully I just keep myself fit, and yeah, it's going to be an amazing experience, man. Like, amazing experience. Representing your country is just crazy, man. Who would have thought? Yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited. All right, let me move on to next team. I got Ray came in first, and then Aros bye-bye. I don't know who was who. Yeah, we'll do, Nils. We'll definitely keep you in the loop. If I'm doing well. If I'm not doing well, I'll just quietly let you know. If I'm doing well, I'll probably post it somewhere. Daniel, your arrows, yeah. Oh wait, who's coming first here? I think Ray's coming first. Anyway, Probs bench boost game week 1, need a new goalkeeper, and wildcard game week 4. All right, cool, Ray. You're first, and then I'll do you, Dan, if that's all right. You're representing which country in T20 and travelling to Cyprus? I'm representing Cyprus national team. I will be representing the Cyprus national team against Croatia. I will be playing against Croatia in Zagreb. We'll be playing very early August. I think 7, 8, 9, 10 August, something like that. Thanks, Luca. Share it. Thanks, GV. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, it'll be my debut, so I'm super excited that I got picked for tour, and then next year I'll probably be in Europe a lot more, so it'll be a lot easier to stream. Oh, I didn't say that. Cut that from the video. Cut that from the video. Hopefully my mum and dad are not watching. Oh, shit. Bench boost game week 1, need a new keeper. Yeah, so we were talking about keepers. Ray, this is you, right? Ray, yeah, Ray, right? Guys, if I'm of help to you, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Really appreciate it if you can. Like, I'm just obviously a small creator at the moment, so trying to gain more traction, get through. YouTube has nuked my views at the beginning of this new year, so a bit of a drama. Oh no, mate, I'm always doing the deadline streams. Don't worry, I'm doing them at 3 a.m. in the morning in Australia frequently. It's painful, and I'm shouted at in my household for it, but it's okay. I'll always be there for the deadline stream, unless I'm flying. Yeah, sorry, Ray. Early deadline streams work. Yeah, they would work for me too, but it's not the same. I might have to do a couple, but yeah, you don't get the same engagement normally. But I will, if I have to, I will do an early one. Yeah. No, I don't have kids. I am, what am I, 31 this year? 32 this year. So probably not too far in the future, mate. We'll see. For now, we're good. I'm living life, mate. I'm living life. You got kids, don't you, Paul? You and Niels. Well, you don't have kids yet. 100% yet. Sorry, Ray. Let's do your team. I get distracted. I enjoy conversation on these streams. Yes, so Kelleher and Darlow in goal. So we were looking at rotations earlier. I thought Areola and Petrovic, West Ham and Bournemouth look really nice. I would say Kelleher's is not bad also with Areola. So if you want to go for the rotations, those are probably the two I would look at. I don't mind the rotation with Petrovic either. So I think those are your three. Probably pick two of those. You don't, wife can't. 3 dogs and 4 cats. That's awesome. That is awesome. Lots of cleaning, mate. Lots of hair around the house, I imagine. It's just as much trouble, pets, as kids. Just as much trouble. Yes, so Gabriel, Diouf, Kukurea, De Kuyper, Udogie. So you want Petrovic long term? Yeah, Petrovic would be nice. I think you might as well just start with him then. Start with him and Kelleher or him and Areola. I think Petrovic would most likely be one of my 2 goalies. I like Gabriel, obviously, for the attacking returns, clean sheets for Arsenal. You could also consider Van Dijk, given that the defensive contributions that he has is quite good as well. Diouf is nice and an interesting differential to Wan-Bissaka, who a lot of people pick. If you've been watching pre-season, you'll be happy to know that Diouf has been motoring up that wing. So yeah, definitely a nice pick. I like it. I've not seen a lot of him. I've not seen a lot of him in drafts. Kukurea, for me, I would not have in my draft. Although Chelsea have nice fixtures, I just prefer at that price point the guys that have defensive contribution points. If you haven't seen my video on defensive contributions, I said it a few times on the stream. I'm really plugging this video, but it's very good. And it's got a lot of good feedback from a lot of people in the FPL community. So check it out on my channel. It really explains why they're so overpowered for defenders this season and why you should definitely look to try and get a couple of these players in your defensive team from the start of the season. So I'd look at Murillo and Tarkowski as the 2 main guys, with VVD just behind, just only because he plays for Liverpool already and gets good clean sheets. So I'd have one of those 3 over Kukurea. And then De Kuyper, I think, is a little bit overrated. So if you can downgrade a Kukurea to one of those other guys, maybe you can upgrade a De Kuyper. Udogie, I don't mind. I think could be nice for Spurs under Thomas Frank. Gets up and down that wing nicely. But I'd potentially just downgrade him to a 4 mil from like a Leeds or a Burnley. Potentially Joe Rodon, who I've spoken about quite a lot on this stream, who's likely to be the starting centre-back for Leeds alongside Bijol, who's suspended for game week 1. So if you're looking to bench boost in game week 1, I think my suggestion would be Kukurea down to a Tarkowski if he's fit, or Murillo. De Kuyper up to the other one. And Udogie down to a 4 million Rodon at Leeds. And that matches up nicely. That's +1, -1 mil. So you keep that price point. The midfield is interesting that you've got no Salah draft. I'm not going to sit out there and say I've got any drafts without Salah in them, but I like your midfield. I like Rodgers, Palmer. I think Reindeers could be good for defensive contributions and some attacking returns. I just don't know under Pep. I think I'm nervous to pick like a Reindeers under Pep because of that rotation. Does he come in at 6.5 or is it 5.5 he comes in at? I thought it was 6. Maybe I'm wrong. He comes in at 5.5, yeah. So the only other person I like at that price point of 5.5 is Elliot and actually 2. Elliot Anderson and, per the stream today, Adingra. If I'm honest, I've got like not that much insight into Adingra for you guys to give, other than what we've discussed today on chat about him playing quite an attacking role for Sunderland. Elliot Anderson, I think, is on set pieces for Nottingham Forest. It's going to tick over the points nicely. Is really nice for these new defensive contribution points into midfielders. I don't think it's as important for midfielders as it is for the defenders, but it's just nice to know that you can get an additional 2 points without him doing anything really. Wirtz, I think, will be great for Liverpool. I think if you're confident that he's going to get that role, then he does definitely have more upside. But yeah, Pep Roulette is something I don't want to mess with in bench boost game week 1. I just want to play safe. Wirtz, yeah, he's looked really good for Liverpool in pre-season in that playmaker role, being involved in a lot of intricate plays, been good. So like that, and Dye as well, really like that on pens for Everton, 6.5. He's one of the few people at 6.5 that's priced nicely there. I also like McNeil for Everton at 6 mil. If he was on penalties over Ndiaye, he'd be amazing. But I think Ndiaye's got that 0.5 because he's on pens. But I think McNeil's also a really nice pick for Everton at 6 if you need the extra 0.5. Up front, Solanke, Haaland, Welbeck. For game week 1, like GV's been saying, Solanke potentially has a minor ankle injury, but I think he might be fit for game week 1, so it should be okay. I really like Solanke. I think the fixtures are really nice for Spurs. He'll probably be on pens with Son playing a bit of a less of a role, so nice pick. Haaland, obviously, GOAT. Welbeck, just bear in mind with Welbeck, he's fine for game week 1 and for your bench boost. Kostoulas, their new signing from Olympiacos, is going to take minutes off him eventually. Simas as well. They've got a couple of new strikers. They're being integrated a little bit slower into the Brighton team. I think they played their first pre-season game recently, yesterday, for Brighton. They're getting up to speed with the intensity of the Brighton press and speed that they play. So they're unlikely to start game week 1. Welbeck is likely to start that. But going forwards, he's not going to have as many minutes. So just have that in consideration that if you're playing an early wild card, that's fine. Like, Welbeck will be good, and Brighton have looked in really good form. So I think it's a fine pick. If you're not going to play an early wild card, maybe consider going down to like an Igor Thiago at Brentford at 6 million, or even like a Perot at Leeds, who's looked real good. Leeds have looked real good pre-season from an offensive standpoint, all their attackers. Yeah, playing as a wildcard early, so don't mind taking 1 or 2 risks. I don't have a problem with that. I think with the bench boost, also another, like, consider what your team looks like in game week 2. If it doesn't look nice, free hit in game week 2. Game week 2 is a real good week to free hit. I think I'm likely to bench boost 1, free hit 2, and then we'll see what. Like, I think my team looks okay in 3 and 4, but I might wildcard. Like, if it just comes out that my game week 1 team wasn't great, didn't work out for me, I free hit in 2, get a little bit more information. I'm very tempted. I could wildcard in 3. I could wildcard in 4. As I've been saying on this stream, like, it's really important to think about. Yeah, Strand Larson at 6.5 is awesome on pens as well this year. It's very important to think about it from terms of, like, the early season in FPL, there's tons of variance. So those first 6 to 8 game weeks where we don't quite know the tactics that the teams are going to play, we're not quite sure the setups that the teams are going to play. So from a tactical perspective, it's harder to choose who you're going to pick and who's going to be the right players tactically, which is what I do a lot on this channel, talk about the tactical aspects week on week, which is why the template only comes into FPL later, between like 8, 10 onwards. So those early game weeks are a really good time to use your chips to make the most of that variance and where you really can gain a lot of ranks. And I've noticed that in past seasons, that if you want to attack and win FPL, you can take those risks early on. And this season specifically, with having double chips, I think it's really worth attacking early, especially with defensive contributions, meaning you don't have to make too many transfers on defenders. Small plug. Watch the defensive contributions video that I did. Very good. It will help for sure. You're thinking. Dan Arrows. Just getting your team up, mate. Oh, I don't know why your team's coming up so crazy on my Twitter. Okay, I'm just going to have to do I'm just going to let everyone know that the midfielder on the left is Ndiaye, that you can't see. Sorry, it's just coming up a bit weird on my screenshots. International break after game week 3 and end of transfer window. Probably game week 4 unless it's really going great. Yeah, that's what I think as well. I think you just wildcard immediately game week 4. You get the price rises in the international break. There's probably going to be some double price rises. There's going to be crazy transfers going on this season. People are probably going to be wildcarding. So, yeah, I mean, I think early moves are fantastic this season. I really do. I obviously think like game week 7, 8, 9. I can't remember what the week is. I think it's 9. There's like a big swing. and also game week 13 for Liverpool City. But I'm going to have those players anyway by that point. That I don't think I need to wildcard. I don't need to wait for game week 13 to wildcard into the players I'm probably going to have anyway. I'm just going to, like Newcastle players, I'll probably just sub someone in. Liverpool and City players, I'm going to have them. I'm probably going to have Salah and Haaland from the start. I've got a few drafts with that. So, yeah. Mario for Cole was the move, Paul. Thanks, Adam. Also, if you start with a 7.5 or a 7 mil striker, you can always downgrade to Thiago Strand if they start the season well. Completely agree. If you can get your team together with the 7.5 mil strikers, I would do that. It's a nice price point. It's the perfect price point for the striker is a 7.5 mil. The midfield is a bit harder. Like 6.5, you feel like you can downgrade as well to 6 or 5.5, maybe a 5 with Belieber. There's not a lot around. And then you feel like Palmer, you can always downgrade as well. So like those are my two sort of price point thoughts for the midfield. And you just fit everybody in around that. Dan, you're planning to bench boost game week 1, wildcard game week 4, and then have the free hit around 14, 17. How does your team look game week 2, Dan? Have you had a look at it? Just out of interest. Is Watkins a placeholder for Gyökeres, or is it Watkins also in your team? Sanchez Darlow's fine. I think Chelsea, obviously good fixtures. You're wildcarding in 4, so like first 3 for Chelsea are nice. I mean, you could also go Trafford at City if you really want to take a risk. The first 3 fixtures for City are really nice. If Trafford gets that number 1 spot off Edison, have a think about that. 5 mil keeper, first 3 games just as good as Chelsea's, and then wildcard in 4. Dogi, Nico, 8 Nuri, Gabriel, Reynaldo. Yeah, as I've said many times about the defensive contributions, I'd try. Nico Williams is actually all right for them. He's probably quite decent. Try and get a Dogi up to a 5.5. 8 Nuri, just the thing for me with 8 Nuri is if you're wildcarding at 4, I think he's fine to have in there because he was incredible in the Club World Cup. The positions he was taking up, super attacking. City obviously have great fixtures. So for your strategy, I'm not like, you don't need to go into these defensive contribution guys because you're wildcarding in 4. So, you say you're bench boosting in 1? Yeah, if you're bench boosting in 1, I'd go Leeds. I'd go Rodon for Reynaldo. Just because I think Leeds can keep a clean sheet against Everton. Sorry. And Rodon could get some defensive contribution points on top of that. Whereas Reynaldo, I'm not sold on him, to be honest. Okay, Sanchez, Gabriel, might take one down, but Pedro Watkins. Yeah, Dogi fine for game week 1. Nico fine. 8 Nuri fine. Like I think Gabriel also fine. Like all of these are good considering you're wildcarding in 4. Like I don't have a problem with any of that. Gino, yeah, no problem, mate. I'll have a look at yours next. Midfield, Ndai, Palmer, Wirt. I would say, like, if Gyökeres comes in, he maybe takes pens off Saka. So I think that's just something to consider. Like, do you still want him not on pens? He's still going to be Saka. He's still going to be on corners. Still going to be a good asset, but just a little bit less. Welbeck at 6.5, nice. For the first few game weeks, fine. Don't have a problem with it. João Pedro looks really good for those first few game weeks. Watkins, yeah, I'd maybe go Watkins for Gyökeres, Saka. I don't know who you go at that price, but Bruno, take a gamble. Or who's around that price point? Marmouche, even. Could be an interesting one. Yeah, interesting team yours, Dan. Because of your strategy, I think, yeah, it's really interesting. Do you got any more questions that I help? Hopefully I helped with what I said. I think yours are sort of supported what your line of thinking is, because I think you've got a clear strategy on what you want to do with your chips, and that means you just gun those first 3 weeks as hard as possible. I'm going for defenders who can have more impact instead of defensive contributions. Yeah, I think you should for those first 3 game weeks. That's fine because you're targeting fixtures and clean sheets for a period of time of 3 game weeks. Yes, exactly. Then wildcard and put more centre-backs for defensive contributions. I think your thoughts are exactly right. I think you thought it through really well, mate. I've nothing to add. You don't need me. You can run the stream next week. I'll get you on Skype. You can tell people what to do. Yeah, I think good. Just think about maybe that Trafford Sanchez switching goal at the 5 mil. Like if you want to go Man City defence, if Trafford gets that starting spot over Ederson, I think those Man City first three are really nice. And then Gyökeres in for Watkins. I would definitely consider. And potentially a Saka. Like you got options with Saka. Then you got options. You could go to a Bruno, take a punt for those first 3 weeks. You could go to a Mamouche. You got options with Saka if you go Gyökeres. Even with the 3 game week on Aston and Arsenal. I don't think Villa's first 3 game weeks are that amazing. They got Newcastle, Brentford, Crystal Palace. Brentford not Thomas Frank anymore. Defensive. They got a set piece coach in charge. They might be defensively better. Who knows? Crystal Palace are decent defensively, especially away from home. They've been very good. So I'd have Gyökeres personally. I'd have him. Maybe you could go double. You go Saka and Gyökeres. Could do that. Depends what price point he comes in at. And then if you do that, then you've got some options maybe with like a maybe upgrading Reynaldo. You're bench boosting, so Darlow is going to have to go up to a rotation piece. That's right, Ray. Good call. Darlow's going to have to go up to a rotation piece because you're bench boosting. So have a look to see if Vicario leaves Spurs. If Vicario leaves Spurs, you can go Kinski at 4 mil. Otherwise, maybe first 3 games. Areola at West Ham, Sunderland, Chelsea, Forest. Quite nice. 4.5 million. Could go there. We don't have to accumulate too many transfers in the first half of the season. Yeah, because you got that AFCON. Like you can be aggressive for the first half of the season. You can be really aggressive, and this is why I support early chip moves. Like, it's risky strategy. Like, that is true. Like, it could all go to pot. You could get them all wrong. Like, you could bench boost, get, like, minimal points. You could then free hit in game week 2. You could get the whole free hit team wrong. You could then wild card in game week 4. And then suddenly players become great options from game week 5. But, like, what are you playing FPL for? Are you playing FPL to just get a safe rank and finish in, like, top 100k? Or are you playing FPL to try and get as high as you can possibly go? Like, I want to win. Like, I'm probably not going to win, right? But, like, I'm not going to play again. Like, I'll finish it. Like, if I wanted to play normal, easy, simple FPL, I'll finish in the top 100k every season. No problem. I still think I'll finish in the top 100k, but it would just be a massive slug if I get it wrong with this aggressive start. But I really do think that it's with this season, with the chips, the way it's structured, the new rules for AFCON transfers, the defensive contributions, you can be aggressive. And if you get it wrong, you get it wrong, but you probably would have got it wrong anyway, even if you weren't aggressive. What do you think Gibbs White for the first 3 game weeks instead of Saka upgrading Welbeck to Gyökeres? Yeah, I like that. Gibbs White, now he's signed back with Forest. Yeah, I like that. I think that's nice. Let's see where Gyökeres' price point comes in, though. We're assuming 9 mil. He's probably going to end up coming in 10.5 at Isaac price, and then everything's out the window. All right, let me... someone else... Hopefully that helps, Dan, mate. I'm gonna jump to Gino. And guys, if any of the rest of you have sent me stuff, please tell me. Because if it's on, like... Where did you send me, Gino? Oh, under my X post. Do you mind just dropping it in the DMs? On my XD... Actually, no, it's probably fine. Yeah, do you mind just dropping it in the XDMs? It'll just be a bit easier to show on screen. it will just look a bit nicer on the screen and a bit bigger. If you can do that, Gino, that'd be great. You still here? You still listening? I'll put you up if you are. If you're not, I'll. Oh yeah. Okay. Nice one. All right. This is your team, but if you drop it in DMs, I'll put it up a bit bigger on the screen. It'll be a bit. Just let me know. I'm just waffling away. That's what I do. It's my part-time, 1,000,000 hours a week job that I put in, despite a normal job, which is killing me. All right. Niels, if you're still about, mate, happy to like talk about your team a little bit more as well after this. I know you weren't around while I was doing it. So let me know if you want further info. And if Luca doesn't come back in time, then I probably maybe got like 20 minutes left of this stream, maybe. I've been streaming for 3 hours almost now. So what are we saying here? Raya, and I could not tell you who that is. That is the first time I've seen a draft, and I've got absolutely no idea who that goalkeeper is. Nuku of Sunderland. I have literally never heard of him. Literally never heard of him. That is highly amusing. Yeah, I mean, like, what's your plan for what you want to do? Like, do you want to, assuming you're not bench boosting, so are you going to wildcard early? Because Arsenal's fixtures after game week 2 are not that nice defensively to have Raya in goal. So you got Liverpool, Forest, City, Newcastle, 3, 4, 5, 6 are quite tricky. And then from game week 7, then Arsenal get really nice defensive fixtures all the way through to like 14, really. So I think have a think about that. I'd probably say if you're looking like first 6 game weeks, wildcard in 7, I'd maybe go for like Sanchez over Raya at 5 mil, or Trafford at Man City if he gets that number 1 spot over Ederson. And sorry, just checking if... Oh, you just sent. Nice. All right, let me just pull it up. All right, there we go. That's way nicer. Yeah. Yeah, so I think about sort of a... Hey, Rico, what's up, bro? Can you send me your team? Send it in the DMs on Twitter or Insta, please, if you don't mind. Whatever works for you, Rico. Wild. Yeah, so I'd think about that from a goalkeeping perspective, maybe a Sanchez or Trafford. Back 5, Colwill, Saliba, Udogie, Steve, Richards. So what's your plan on sort of wildcarding, Gino? Do you have a sort of an idea of when you want to do it? Or will wildcarding game week 13? Okay, with that big fixture swing towards City and Liverpool. All right, so I think like you need to look a little bit longer term with these picks. So I'd probably go for like a Sanchez or a Trafford if you want a 5 million goalkeeper, because they've just got better fixtures for the first sort of 6-7 game weeks. That then the back sort of 5, Colwill, Saliba, Udogie, Richards, Steve. I think Chris Richards and a Steve are fine. I'd probably go Joe Rodon at Leeds over a Steve. Personal preference. Because I think that Leeds have better chances of getting these defensive contribution points. I think Saliba's fine, but I would go Gabriel over Saliba at the 6 mil price point. And I think over the first, like, 13 game weeks, really, that you're looking at, I'd maybe just go, like, for one of these guys, the defensive contribution monsters. So you could downgrade Saliba to a Tarkowski and upgrade Colwill to a Murillo. Those are the 2 best guys for DC points, if Tarkowski's fit for the start of the season. I think that would be really nice for you to get that. To get out of Colwill, get into one of those 2 would be good. If you don't like that, I'd definitely go Saliba to at least a Gabriel or to VVD. But Gabriel over Saliba for Arsenal purposes for sure. Gabriel's got the attacking potential. Happy to discuss further if you got thoughts on that. Gabriel hasn't trained fully and he doubt he's played game week 1. Yeah, well, I mean, we got to keep an eye out for who's fit and available. If he's not going to be there for game week 1, even more reason to go to like a Virgil van Dijk, to a Mario, a Tarkovsky. Yeah, okay, fair enough, Gino. Yeah, that's totally fair. I just stay tuned to my deadline stream, mate. I'll have all the information for you on the deadline stream. Make sure you're subscribed, everyone watching at the moment. Make sure you've all hit that like button and help my small channel grow. Thank you very much. I would appreciate it. Hopefully I'm helping you guys. Nice. I really like Ndiaye on pens for Everton. Good first few games. Palmer, great. Salah, great. Rodgers, great. No issues with any of those. I think all of them people that I would have in my team if I had a ideal lineup there. Sarr at Palace is a nice price point at 6.5 mil. Someone else to consider if you just want a little bit of extra money in that team is Elliot Anderson at 5.5, potentially in a Dinger at 5.5, which I'm saying the chat has talked me into today. But yeah, Elliot Anderson for those defensive contribution points, plus being on set pieces and corners for Nottingham Forest, could be a really nice one. Change Gabriel to VVD. Oh, nice. So yeah, I think Sarr's maybe one I'd consider of someone where you could bring more money into the team if you needed it. So if you wanted to upgrade a Colwill to Mario, you can maybe take that money out of Sarr down to Elliot Anderson. You're doing almost 3 hours non-stop, no comfort break. Mate, just for you guys. In fact, I've just ticked over 3 hours, 2 minutes I've done. I just talk, man. You just tell me to shut up. If you want me to go, just super chat me like $5 to kill the stream. Or $5 to keep going. Nah, I'll probably wrap up in like maybe half an hour or something. I'm pretty tired. But yeah, it's been good fun. Been good fun going on. But yeah, just make sure you're subscribed and like the video for the 3 hour stream. Just in the middle of a random weekend. Yeah, midfield's nice. Up front, Strand Larson, I think very underrated. I think really nice at 6.5. Great price point. Just the fixtures are a little bit tough over those first 4 game weeks. But from game week 5, he's real nice. And on pens now without Cunha, I think like he could score a lot of goals for Wolves. So I think he's a really nice pick. It's just those first 4 game weeks which are a bit annoying. So, I mean, if you could go Welbeck for the first 4 into Strand Larson, it would be nice, but you don't want to book in a transfer like that, so I don't mind it. Solanke, great. If he's fit for game week 1, great fixtures for Spurs, definitely support that. Chris Wood at 7.5. What I've learned over my years of playing FPL is never tell anybody not to pick Chris Wood, and never don't pick Chris Wood, but I'm still going to not pick Chris Wood. Because he just ruins me every year. Just ruins me. So nobody would feel like listening from the start. It's always good to get into interactive stream. Yeah, man. Honestly, like interactive streams are the way to go. Foggy, I know you're laughing, mate, because you've seen the pain I've suffered of Chris Wood throughout last season. Even last season, like the year before, honestly, Chris Wood destroyed me. I didn't have him in my team. Then this season, I bloody had him in, and then I benched him for his hat-trick. Unbelievable. So Chris Wood is my kryptonite in FPL. So I'll give you some options, but I won't suggest you go against him because whatever I say about Chris Wood is always wrong. Igor Thiago at 6 mil is nice. It gives you an opportunity to get some more money into your side if you don't want to do it with Sarr. If you do want to upgrade and you take some money out from maybe Sarr and you go down to like a Belieber at 5 million, who's your like one of the few 5 million options, you could upgrade Chris Wood to Gyökeres at 9 mil if he comes in at 9 mil, or Watkins at 9 mil. Double up on Liverpool with Ekitike. I probably wouldn't go for that, but it could work out. Yeah. Do you know who I've not talked about in this stream today? Who I like at this price point, and I like depending on whether we sign Isak. is Cody Gakpo at 7.5 million. Diaz is going to leave for sure. I think Cody Gakpo is a very nice pick at 7.5 million on the left wing for Liverpool. Very nice pick. I think he's an excellent price pointer. So yeah, I think that's my thoughts. Gino, hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if anything else you want to discuss. But yeah, hopefully that gives you some options to think about. Like, I think your team's nice overall. I don't obviously want to just turn all your teams into my teams, but those are just some thoughts of what you can look at going forwards. And you potentially, if you move that guy a 4 mil keeper up to a 4.5, or to Kinski at Tottenham if he starts over Vicario, you could bench boost in game week 1 with that team. It's a pretty nice team. Rico, I will get you up, mate, on Insta, is it? Yeah, people keep dropping in and just giving me teams, so I just keep going. Just keep going. One thing I learned is to never bench a penalty taking forwards. Mate, where were you last year? Can you stay in my bloody chat every week, all right? I need you telling me on the deadline stream, do not put him on the bench. Please be there every week on my deadline streams. Where are you from, Gino? Yeah, Gino's like quite an Italian sounding name, but your last name, I don't know where it's from. So what's your time zone? Need you in my deadline streams, mate, telling me what to do. Just remember the pain that you suffered, Adam. What are we looking at here, Rico? Yes, never bench penalty taking forward. I know. I thought I was too smart for my own boots last year, all right? Anyway. I still finished 50-ish K, 60K I think it was. But I would have finished probably top 20 if I hadn't been trying to win my mini league, which I did. $500, more important than finishing top 20K. Enable the thanks or get me a coffee link. I will do one of either. You can, you show your support. You can send like super chat in the chat if you want, GV. That's what is in my live chat. If you see there's like a give thanks. Should be there for everyone. It's in the live chat. There's like a little icon, like a dollar icon. Thailand. Pafon Chai. What's your time zone? Hey, Thailand. What is your time zone? That's awesome that I've got people out in Thailand watching. 6:04 p.m. Okay, so you're going to be like a good time. Like all the deadline streams will be good time for you. You'll probably be like 9 p.m. games, maybe like 10, 11 p.m. games. I see that dollar icon. Yeah, that's it, GB. Don't feel obliged, but I would hugely appreciate it for sure. All right, Rico, my guy. Rico, what are we doing? What's the bet this year, mate? So last year, for those of you that haven't been regular followers, me and Rico, Gary Wells, my guy, what's going on? Paul, Gifting Gaza. Look at these guys getting on in the chat. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I lost a bet with Rico last year, and he got to choose my captain for one of the game weeks. I blame Jared Bowen completely. Who would have thought he would score? Yeah, Gino, you'll be around for my live streams, mate. You'll be around. Gifted a membership. How long do you gift Gary a membership for? Gary should already be a member. He's broken the rule of losing membership on the off season. Get back on membership, Gary. Someone's got to message him. Tell him to. Where is he? Are you here, Gary? Are you guys mates, Paul? Anyway, Rico, let's talk about your team, mate. Maybe we do who gets the most points game week 1. No, because then I'm forced into a bench boost. We'll think about it. We'll do one in the season at some point. All right, Sanchez and Kinski, totally fair. Understand that. Are you like early wildcarding? Do you have any thoughts on your chip strategy, Rico, or you're not sure yet? You can gift a membership for a month. It's completely random. Oh, that's sound. I didn't know you could do that. Can I gift memberships? Oh, I should do that for you guys. How do I do that? How did you do that, Paul? You got to tell me how this thing works. Where's the button? I'll do that in some future deadline streams. I'm not going to do it now because I'm going to go through this team, but I will definitely do that. I've been trying to work a way of basically my goal this year is growing the channel as much as possible. So for anyone that's a member, I'm going to be doing giveaways every week, basically. And so pretty much whatever YouTube pay me in the month, I'm just going to give away back to the members, and I'm just going to try and grow the channel as much as possible this year. So make sure you join all the deadline streams. I'm sure I'm going to be doing a giveaway almost every week, or at least every other week, depending on how many views I get on YouTube in the week. So if you watch my videos, you're more likely to make some money out of my channel. There's a $sign next to chat. You can super chat and gift a membership. I don't know why I can't gift a membership. I don't know. I'll look into it, Paul, another time. It doesn't have that option for me. Anyway, leave the gifting of memberships to me. You guys can super chat for me. You haven't made money yet. Cap C, mate, you need to calm down, bro. You calm down. You can gift up to many memberships. All right. We'll start doing that. All right. Rico. Sanchez and Kinski, fine. But do you have, like I said, Rico, do you have any plans for chip strategy? Like bench boost or wildcard, early wildcard, bench boost game week 1? Like any thoughts, or you're just picking a good team and wildcarding later? Cool, I will do, Paul. I think I need to enable something first. You heard free money. Cap, you're tight, aren't you, man? Tight guy. You might win some, mate, just because I like you some point during the season. Kirkes, De Kuiper, Konsa, Nico Williams, is Steve. Yeah, so I like Nico Williams. I like Steve. I'd probably go Rodon over Steve. Konsa, good fixtures for Villa. So decent at 4.5 mil. De Kuiper, I think, massively overhyped. Okay, cool. Any early thoughts on wildcard or not really? And then De Kuiper, yeah, I'd probably go to a Wan-Bissaka or a Diouf. Anytime favourites, it's not biased. No, I can't do it, mate. It's got to be random. I've got to give everybody an equal chance of winning, even though you're enjoyable. Except for when you're shouting at me, then I don't like you. And then Kirkes, as I've said many times on this, Rico, I think Van Dijk over Kirkes is just a better pick. Like, I think the defensive contributions, unless you're looking to wildcard early, I prefer Van Dijk over a longer period of time. I think he outscores Kirkes. And like if Robbo stays, like he's going to take minutes off him. Like he's not going, or even Simicast, like he's not going to play every game. Liverpool will rotate their fullbacks a little bit, I think. So I think have a think about that one. If you're not going to wildcard early, I'd look to get more guys with the defensive contribution points in. I would be keen to get De Kuiper up to a Tarkowski or Murillo. If you can't get, if I'm going to bench boost, I'll pick Kirkes or Frimpong, to be honest. I'd still go Van Dijk. Long term, like watch my video on defensive contributions. I think it like really articulates well why they're better longer term. Short term, specifically targeting fixtures. Say if you're going to wildcard in week 4, then I would go for the fullbacks because of the potential attacking returns. But longer term, the centre backs are going to accumulate more points, and you're going to be able to not have to transfer them out and be able to attack with transfers on other players. I'm nodding like I'm the gospel, but I'm not. So those are just my thoughts. I think Murillo, Tarkowski, if you can get one of those guys in, I'd probably go Van Dijk over Kirkes. Frimpong's looked really good for Liverpool pre-season. Got super attacking up that wing. And I think GV was saying, like, although I don't think he's going to end up in that right wing role, he has like pushed him on a few times. But I think Bradley will take some minutes off him as well this season. So just be careful with that. What's so good about defensive contributions, though? Won't it take 2 games for a defender to get 2 points? 1 game, if you get 10 defensive contributions, you get 2 points in that game. So players like Mario and Tarkovsky that are averaging like 10, 11, 12 defensive contributions per game are going to be picking up these 2-pointers almost every game. Probably like 23, 24 out of the 38 games, they're going to be picking up 2 extra points. So if they got good fixtures as well, which Nottingham Forest and Everton both do at the start of the season, like they could be picking up clean sheet plus another 2 points, plus maybe some bonus points if it's like a 0-0 draw or something, especially with Everton. Tarkovsky has a good chance of that. So I think it's very overpowered in FPL this year for defenders specifically. For midfielders, it just gives you like if you're scared that it's like an Arsenal, like if you're scared that your defender's playing like an Arsenal and they're going to punt them like 6-0 and then, you know, the defensive contribution points don't make as much of a difference, then all right, maybe your midfielder's nice. You just get 4 points. You don't have to worry about it. But there's not a lot of midfielders that can make that 12 consistently. Like a Casemiro or Elliot Anderson are probably the ones that stand out. So I love Elliot Anderson as a pick. I think he is one of the most underrated picks as well this season at 5.5. So in your midfield, Luca, why don't you just give me a short one, because I'm going to do you, and then I'm so knackered now. I'm going to have to go. I've been streaming since 6, almost 3.5 hours. GV, you never found the $sign, mate. Midfield, Salah, Palmer, Wirtz, Rodgers, Kudus. I love that. Big fan. Don't really have like issues. I don't have any issues with that. So I like your team. I don't want to change your team to be like what I have. I think it's good. Oh, that is much better, GV. Much better, mate. Like supporter and elite is basically the same. It's like 40p or 50p a game week. Just become elite and I'll add you to the WhatsApp group chat as well with Paul and Niels and Isaac. I think that's the best membership option, because then you also get access to the like Excel spreadsheets, FPL API automations and stuff that I do. But yeah, I mean, either's amazing, mate. I appreciate any support that you can give. And so, yeah, up front, Bowen, João Pedro, Krupi Jr. Yeah, so, I mean, looking at this, then, like, you're obviously not going to bench boost in game week 1. If you were to bench boost in game week 1, you'd have to downgrade Wirtz probably to 6.5, maybe an Ndai, and then you could upgrade Krupi to, like, a Welbeck or a Igor Thiago. I like João Pedro. I like Bowen. I like your team. It's a good team. I think the defence you need to work on. The midfield and attack, I like. If you want to bench boost, you have to downgrade Wirtz, upgrade Krupi. If you don't want to bench boost, then it's fine. Defence is where I'd work on. Like this is personal, but I feel like Van Dijk for Kirkes or Mario. Mario or Tarkovsky for De Kuyper. I don't know where you're going to find this money, but the rest is fine. Maybe just Mario for De Kuyper and Van Dijk for Kirkes. Rest looks okay. Then you got a bit of both, or Tarkovsky for Kuyper, one of the two. I think De Kuyper's not. I don't like De Kuyper. Is it worth it? Cap C. What do you mean? Worth becoming a member? Yeah, man, for sure, 100%. Like I honestly wouldn't have put it up, and I didn't put it up unless I thought that I gave you guys value. Yeah, I mean, look, if you don't think it's worth it, it's fine, man. Like honestly, like it just really helps me, to be honest, because there's a lot of work putting together the channel, and I don't want to sound like I'm like, you know, just wanting you guys to pay me money and stuff, but it does take a lot of work, and more than anything, it just gives me a big boost to like keep going, like. I'll come off this stream and I'll be like, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. So I appreciate the content creators, to be honest. A lot of them that like do all the graphics and stuff. It does take a lot of work. But like the talking's easy. The talking is super easy. Coming up with ideas, for me personally, super easy. Tactical, super... GV! What a guy. What a guy. My man. My man. How do we like this? How do we like this guy? He's... What a man. Oh. These are the sort of things that I like on stream. This is like just... Always it boosts me. Boosts my energy. I'm going to do another 15 minutes now. We're going to do another 15 minutes. Rico, rather get good attackers than defenders who get high defensive contributions because one goal conceded remove half the points. Not for defensive contributions. You get 2 points regardless of if you... Oh, I see what you're saying. Like if they concede 2 goals, they lose. They get like -1 point. Yeah, but like Virgil van Dijk. All I'm saying for you, Rico, is like Kirkes v Van Dijk. Like same price, same club, same clean sheet points, but you're going to get extra for Van Dijk. What I promise you, watch the video that I did on defensive contributions. That will, if you still think the same that you should go for Kirkes, then fine, go for him. But I at least think Kirkes for Van Dijk. And if you're not going to go for a defensive contribution defender, then De Kuiper for Wan-Bissaka. I don't really like De Kuiper. Mate, happy to have you, GV. Happy to have you. But yeah, man, the rest of the team looks good. I think if you want to bench boost, like I said, Wirtz and Creepy Jr. are the 2 that you got to move. All right, Luca, tell me you've sent me your team, bro. Tell me. Paul. Oh yeah, Paul. That's it. I need to set it up because it doesn't come up with the same thing for me on. Like I can't gift from there. Thank you, Paul. Paul, you legend. You guys are too good. Too good to me. Too good to me. I'm gonna need a coffee, man. I'm exhausted. I'm actually exhausted. I am exhausted. Thank you so much, Paul. I actually don't drink coffee, to be honest. Maybe a Red Bull. A natural energy. You sent me a DMX. Yeah, I just saw it. Like that. Weirdly, it just doesn't work for my team. For me on my thing. Why is this looking weird? Why is this like not coming up properly on the screen? You're seeing like half my screen here. Gotta work it out. Luca, where are you, mate? I need your team. XDMs, mate. XDMs. DM me. Where you normally talk to me. Flick it through. And I'll tell you what, like after we do your team, I'm gonna show on stream what I'm thinking for my team. And then I'll call it quits after that. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Best Adogi replacement, Wan-Bissaka or Diouf. Well, I mean, if you can go up to a 5.5, it's different, but at 4.5, Wan-Bissaka Diouf. Yes, that's the one. That's what we want. Luca is in the game. All right, mate. Oh my God, I already love you for having Virgil Tarkovsky Maria, and I don't have to talk about defensive contributions again to anybody, because I'm sure everybody's bored of listening to me talk about them. Wow, I really like this, mate. I really like this. If Gray stays at Palace as well, nice. Obviously not bench boosting in one. Kelleher, interesting. Kelleher versus Areola if you've just got one at 4.5 mil. If you want to go for a rotation, I think Areola and Petrovic are really nice. Or Petrovic and Kelleher. Was it Petrovic and Kelleher? Yeah. Those three, they rotate quite nicely. I think it's Petrovic helps. I mean, really, you can go for two of those three if you want to go for two 4.5s. Areola mostly because they got Sunderland game week 1. Where to free up the 0.5 for it? All right, let's have a look at that. So I'll tell you what, where I see as a clear cut freeing up 0.5 and Dye to McNeil. I think McNeil's equally as good an option for Everton. He's just not on pens. So I really don't. I think if you want 0.5, I think that's a nice way to free it up. McNeil, if you look into the data for last season, I'll probably do a video on it at some point, like midfielders. McNeil was really good value for money. So I think that's a nice way of freeing up. Tuanzebe at Burnley, do I think he's going to start in that other role? Not sure. If you're going to go for a 4 mil defender, I'd probably go for Rodon of Leeds, I've been saying today. He's probably the other centre-back along with Bijol. But Bijol's also suspended for game week 1, so if you're not going to play him in game week 1, just go Bijol. He's the 15 mil signing from Udinese for Leeds. He will definitely be centre-back for the rest of the season for Leeds. Rodon might rotate a little bit with Struijk, although Struijk will probably play mostly left-back and maybe a couple of games at centre-back with Rodon. So given you're not going for a bench boost, I'd just go Bijol at Leeds for Tuanzebe. Don't go Areola. West Ham is work in progress with Potter. Midfield is old with Souček, JWP. They changed it up a little bit late last season, West Ham, with the 3-5-2 that they're playing. I think they look a bit nicer like that, like a little bit more defensively better. But yeah, I mean, Petrovic and Kelleher are still a nice rotation. So not sure how Brentford or Bournemouth... I mean, really all the 4.5s, they've all got issues, GV, because Brentford, you don't know how they're going to come up with a new manager that's a set-piece coach. Bournemouth, they just lost Hodgson and Kirkes, so those are their two best defenders, and Kepa. So they basically lost their whole defence. And then West Ham, if anything, have strengthened their defence with Diouf, but old. And I said it all last season with West Ham, terrible in transition, and they just concede so many because they're just slow. Just so slow defensively. But I think the 3-5-2 is quite nice with the two holding midfielders. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess thoughts, 0.5 mil to rotate the keepers would be Ndiaye to McNeil. No Salah, interesting. I'll show you a draft with Salah, Palmer, Haaland after this. See if you like it. Solanke's nice. If you want to free up some money, I mean, you could free it up there. He obviously has that minor ankle injury, probably be back for game week 1. But you could go down to a Strand Larsen. You could go down to an Igor Thiago at 6 mil. Anyone else? No, that's probably it. And then Bruno, I think you obviously like Bruno for a reason. I don't want to change that. I like Bruno as well. If that first game wasn't Arsenal, Bruno would be in my team. I don't know if that's a bad move for me. But I think I'm going to free hit game week 2. I'm going to have Bruno, and then I might end up wildcarding in game week 3 or 4. So he'll probably be in my team then. So yeah, I think the 0.5 and Ndiaye to McNeil maybe. Welbeck 6.5. I think the Brighton fixtures are all right, mate. But the thing is with Welbeck is he's not going to have that place unless you're going to. If you wildcard early, Welbeck's good, like 4 or something. But I think Costulas and Simas for Brighton are going to take minutes off him. Costulas is the new signing from Udinese, like roughly around 15 mil. He's just getting up to speed with the intensity and press of Brighton and the energy that they play with under Hertzler. So he's getting eased in. He played the most recent preseason game. I can't remember who Brighton were playing against. That was his first game that he came in for Welbeck. I'm going to Welbeck in 12-13 though, so maybe not. Yes, I wouldn't go Welbeck. Igor Thiago at 6 mil though is a nice one. If you really want to save money and you don't really care about Solanke, he'd probably start up front either if Wissa doesn't leave Brentford. Like Wissa probably play second striker like he did with Tony, coming off left or 2 up front. Cap, this good. Saka to Rodgers, Wood to Gyökeres. Yeah, 100%. OB to yeah, I know who you mean. Perot. I really want Bruno though. Can you just go Saka to Bruno and Wood to Gyökeres? And don't go OB to Perot? Why'd they have to make Sharda 7 mil? Yeah, I know. I was going to have Sharda as well. Bruno could definitely score against Arsenal. Pentakers, I expect him to get close to 200 points or more with the quality ahead of him this season. I couldn't disagree with you, Paul. To be honest, I won't disagree with you. I think he'll get 200 points as well this season. I just think like I'll end up with him in my team. Like I think that I don't want him for the Arsenal game because I just think Arsenal will be too good. I know he can score being a penalty taker. I'm probably going to free hit game week 2 and Bruno will be in my free hit team. And then I'll just see how I feel about my team in game week 3. Honestly, I just think my team in game week 3 looks good. And then if it went well, the bench boost in game week 1, I'll keep it rolling for another week in 3. If it goes badly, I'll wildcard. Or I might just leave it one more week in game week 3, have a look, and wildcard in 4. I'll probably wildcard in 4 after the international break. Or for the international break. Free hit game week 2 is an excellent idea, man. Because the fixtures are not that great. And it attacks that early season variance that I was talking about. Where that's where you gain a lot of points in FPL. And this is the theory for me this year in FPL. This is the first year I've been content creating game weeks 1 to 10. So it's definitely the first year that I've been this engaged. But I've tended to be pretty good with strategy. So I guess we'll see how it goes. But I think the first goal for Man United would be crystal ball glazing. Where's my crystal ball when you need it? I'll have it for the next stream. All right, maybe I do a quick team. I just do a quick draft and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Thanks everyone for joining in. Actually, this is pretty much what I'm looking at. Let's assume that this 9 mil is Gyökeres. I've got 1 million in the bank. I've got 1 million in the bank, so if he comes in at 9.5, he'd be all right. That's probably how I bench boost in game week 1 with this team. And if we put it into like a plan FPL, and we look at it going forwards, and we plan it out a little bit. Let's put it into like a plan FPL, same team. This is Tarkowski. This is Palmer. No, Solanke. 1 million. Oh, this is game week 2 for fuck's sake. Sorry. Excuse my French. Palmer. And Tarkowski. Assuming there's some assumptions that Tarkowski's fit, that Solanke's fit. But I think this is what I'd end up with. And then bench boost in this game week 1. Which is like, this is probably what the team would be, right? Like, yeah, okay, maybe I'd have something like that. Salah, Rogers, Palmer, Solanke, and then Watkins is Gyökeres. Solanke, Gyökeres, Thiago. Mario, Virgil, Tarkowski, Rodon. Quite like that. Probably Elliot Anderson's in there. Rodon first sub. I know it doesn't matter, I'm bench boosting, but... And maybe if I bench boost, then Petrovic becomes Kelleher. What are you doing if Gyökeres is 10 mil? I've got 1 mil in the bank. Got 1 mil in the bank. But yeah, I guess, and then like if you look at this going forwards, I think game week 2 it doesn't look that amazing. So I probably free hit. Game week 3, the team looks really nice. Like I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that team like, yeah, Maria v West Ham, Virgil's Virgil, Tarkovsky v Wolves, Salah, Rodgers v Palace, Anderson v West Ham, Palmer v Fulham, Solanke v Bournemouth. This is going to be Gyökeres v Leeds, Thiago v Sunderland. Like, pretty nice. Pretty nice, I think. I think maybe this was Kelleher. Maybe this was the way. Petrovic and Kelleher is the way to go. Can't remember. I couldn't remember. Or maybe Areola and Kelleher. I don't know. One of the two. We'll think about. And then like we can have a look at some other options, maybe with Bruno. Maybe some other options with Bruno. Why don't we stick to plan FPL, because then we can go forwards. Game week 1, reset game week. Yeah, I mean Bruno could come in here for sure. If we don't, but I don't know if we can get Bruno and Palmer. You reckon we can get Bruno and Palmer? Like a Formium. I mean, you can do it. You just wouldn't be bench boosting. Like, this would be a team probably with Gyökeres up front. Sorry, and you probably have Thiago playing, wouldn't you? That's probably what you're looking like with Salah, Palmer, Gyökeres for Watkins, and Bruno. It's not too bad. Obviously, if he comes in at 10, he could come in at 10.5. We're all cooked. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully they bring him out over today or tomorrow. He comes out on the game. Should come out, and then we can. I'll chuck a draft up. I'll chuck a short up or something. Once Gyökeres comes out with, I think I put a short out tonight, but I got a few coming out that I've already recorded that will just keep coming out, and then I'll do one with Gyökeres when his price comes out. I'll do a couple of teams, and if you guys obviously if you guys want to know, just GV as well. If you can DM me your phone number so I can add you to the WhatsApp chat, that'd be great, mate. And then I'll also also your email address. I'll give you access to the FPL Excel spreadsheet API links that I'm working with at the moment. That also has all the defensive contribution data. Actually, I need to update that with the defensive contribution data, so you guys can look up. Yeah, just drop me a DM on Insta or Twitter with your email address and phone number that you want to use to be added to the WhatsApp chat, and I'll get you in. And then, yeah, we can chat about team drafts. Just post up in there if you want to chat about it, and I'll be replying daily. Yeah, so guys, I think that'll do. Great stream. I've done 3.5 hours now. I'm going to rest in front of the TV and watch some football and cricket, all sorts of highlights. Grand Prix highlights. Don't tell me the results. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining today, for contributing, for putting your teams in, for becoming members, for super chats. Look, all of this stuff, I honestly, yeah, mobile number, mate, yeah. Just DM me separately. You don't understand, it really does make a huge difference to me, and gives me a lot of energy to keep doing this stuff. So, thanks everyone so much. Hope I can keep it going through the season. And I hope you guys will be tuning in, watching those videos, and being around for the live streams, most importantly, to have these great conversations. So yeah, thanks everyone. Have a great week, and I will speak to you soon. Watch out for some good videos coming up. If you haven't watched that defensive contributions one, have a look. Cheers, guys.